All right, we are pretty much live. I'm just gonna do my whole thing. Got to add in my thumbnail, and then we'll get the show started. Make life a little bit easier. I always forget how to do this, and you can't really do this on Ecamm. I wish you could just put thumbnails in, but you can't. Today we are going to be talking about cameras are getting a lot cheaper, which is really cool, and it's awesome because I like when tools are more accessible to a lot of people that are coming up into the space. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We do have a little bit of Q&A. So that's where we're at. So that is the overall thing we're doing. Now let me just see if I could find the thumbnail that I made like 2 minutes ago. And then once that's on, in the meantime, I would love if you guys let me know if the audio is good. Make sure that I'm in focus. If you guys are going to let me go through this whole stream without me being in focus and not looking good, then you guys are bad friends. Greetings from Russia. How do I pronounce that name? Just so I don't want to screw it up. So if you could tell me the pronunciation? Yeah. That'll be dope. Okay. It's good and you are in focus. I feel like I'm out of focus. Oh, you know what? No, I don't think I am because we are shooting at f4. Maxim, okay. I don't know any language in like Russian or Ukrainian. I have Ukrainian and Russian friends, and I think the letters are different, so that's cool. This is your 54-year-old pupil. I love the fact that there is a much more mature demographic on this channel. It saves me a lot of time and frustration because I know I'm not speaking to at least completely children. But yeah, that's also dope, man. Like it's never too late to learn stuff. And I'm sure you also probably have a lot more knowledge of things. So watching in 480p, I can't tell if you're in focus. Why are you watching in 480p? Is that what it's outputting at? Because if it is, I'll be sad because we are shooting via SDI. Let me know if this is like in terrible focus or not. I know there's like banding because pretty sure live streams only go up into 1080p. What up, Jonathan? But yeah, to start off the stream, we will have a bunch of Q&A. Honestly, I just wanted to hang out. Again, this is one of those nights where I'm basically done work for the day. I'm going to go to the gym. I like going to the gym late, which particularly always seems to be when it's leg day. And that's where we are at now. Nemesis, I'm getting 1080p. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, extra, so I am in focus. All right, perfect. All right, so I should have probably made this Q&A a little bit earlier, but I did make a Q&A kind of start off the stream. Late gym sessions are the best. They're great because, like, when you're done, you just go to bed. Like, I'll do legs, I'll do my cardio, I'll come home, take a shower, and go to sleep. And I find that, like, I don't know if maybe my appetite's gone out the window, but, like, I only eat, like, twice a day. Maybe it's because I'm busy, but we'll see. Yeah, that's exactly it. Especially like with legs, like I'm gonna come home and immediately want to go to sleep, and I'm absolutely excited about that, and I'm very here for that. Okay, so there's only a couple of questions on the Q&A. I'm gonna go through some of these while people start to pile in. Maybe should I give it like 2 more minutes before we start? No, there's enough for you guys here. Make sure you run up that like button. That does help the stream out a lot, especially getting it to people that are kind of just scrolling around. If I'm off axis, if I'm not in focus, it's up to you guys to tell me, or you're all bad friends. So here we are. So we got the stream going up right now, and questions of the day. So I got one from Brandon Jones 31. This is on Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, it's just I am my first and last name, and pretty easy to find. But we do have a couple questions. First one is, it's actually like a 2-part question. Predictions on the FX line of cameras. You think the Mark II's coming out this year? And then the second part of that is, and if so, 12K open gate or internal RAW, do you think that'll be the next based on competition? No, I don't think so. I don't think Sony's very rigid in terms of their design language for a lot of things. So I think you're going to get I don't think you're getting anything unpredictable. Even when we were talking about like the A7S III, between the S3 and the A7S II, it wasn't that unpredictable where things were going to go with Sony. I mean, obviously 4K up to 120 frames a second is great, but for what it was in a video focused camera, like that wasn't super surprising, to be honest. I think you're not going to get, I don't think you're going to get open gate, to be honest with you. And I think if you are, it's going to be something like a 4:3, not a 3:2, and it'll have some sort of a crop mode to it so they can keep the readout high. Mostly because, and my reasoning for that is Sony currently, as it is an NFL tech partner, which means that when you're shooting sports, like you kind of are going to use varying frame rates. I'm only assuming that because you're working with a lot of fast moving objects, high rolling shutter might not be the best idea in the world, right? So things like the FX6, things like the FX3 are used on NFL shoots. The A9 Mark III is definitely a really fast sports shooter camera with global shutter. So I could definitely see them just going and opting for like faster cameras. And if that means that you don't get anamorphic, I'm sure that's probably going to be what ends up happening. In terms of 12K, absolutely not. I think Blackmagic is one of the only brands that make or get their own sensors from not Sony. And I think the way that Sony makes their sensors, I think maybe like 8K might be a thing. I don't know if we're going to get 12. But yeah, my expectations for Sony in the next generation of cameras, the longer it takes for them to release one, the better they get. But if they release a camera too soon, then my expectations aren't very high. And based on like the A7 IV, what I think is going to happen, I don't know. I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be somewhat of an upgrade, but I don't think it's going to it's not going to be the A7 III in terms of release and its relationship with the rest of the creator community. Also, the community's changed a bunch though. Second question. Would you use a MocoBot camera for future shoots? I had to Google what that was because I've never used one and I've never needed one. They're the giant robot arms for cameras. And I mean, like, if I have a job that has the budget and I can afford it, absolutely. But outside of that, probably not. Like, as much as I like using camera gear, I also really like context of things making sense. And if it doesn't make sense, then I'm not going to do it. And then, Azrael, Dizito Pavo lenses. I want to rent them. Thoughts? I'd say go ahead. I mean, like if you make sure you have with renting because it costs money. Make sure you have some sort of client job going on with them, or like maybe rent like one lens to try it out. They're fun. They're super nice looking, but you want to keep in mind that like you still have to spend money on renting stuff, and if you're not insured and you don't have the insurance necessary to like keep on holding on to them, you got to consider that as well. So there's that. Oh, hang on a second. There's a couple of things in the chat. Let me just go to here. So, as much as I love cameras, I'm excited about the Tascam FR AV2. Have I used it? No, I have no idea what that is. I mean, Tascam I'm familiar with. I know they make a lot of audio stuff, so there's that. But I genuinely don't know what that is. So I might Google that and see if I can figure out how that works or why it's so exciting. Or you could tell me why it's so exciting. That'd be even cooler. I'm really waiting for the A7 IV because I like to take photos. Also, I just did, this is stupid and this is going to be annoying and I'm really going to hate myself. I was just doing some tests on some things for video. And one of the things I did was I hard mounted my A7C II to my car. And it's super funny because I always put ratchet straps on them. I always have safety hooks and stuff like that on it. But I can't find the bag with the ratchet straps and safety hooks. So I just went without and I'm like, oh, no, it'll be fine. The couple hold, and my A7C II fell. Now, it's not completely destroyed. Everything works, except I can't click the shutter button to take photos with it. It'll autofocus, it'll do everything else, can't full press the shutter button, so I have to get that fixed, which is super annoying because I just re-got the A7C II. But what I'm trying to say is hopefully the A7 IV doesn't have the same sensor. Or maybe it does, and then I can get that instead of fixing my camera that I currently have. Let's go. Another man can make it to the stream. Oh, Lorio, he's out here, bro. There's like a lot of familiar faces that are in the chat, which is really dope. Hope your day is going well. My day was going great outside of me dropping my camera. But what's really cool is we have a ton of videos for February, bro. Like if I look at, I'm going to look at the calendar right now and it's something ridiculous. Like it's almost daily. It's almost. So I'd say, tomorrow, the video that's supposed to come out today is going to come out, mostly because of the Blackmagic news, which we'll get into later. But that's supposed to come out today, which means that today's video is coming out tomorrow. I don't post videos on Saturdays. It's just a thing. I don't know. Bad omen. Don't like doing it. So I have a video on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 15 videos for the month of February, and I'm waiting on 2 brand partnerships. So there might be, I don't know, it's 15 plus, there might be 17 videos in the month of February, which only has 28 days. Blackmagic and Luminance is the only cams I have for YouTube Studio. The best bang for the dollar. I'm glad they lower the price for higher end cameras. Actually, what I've realized, and I was talking to my, like I have a Sony rep that I work with and stuff like that. He's also just one of my friends. But he was talking about the high end market and the reason why like Ari's coming out with cheaper cameras and like Blackmagic recently dropped the price of their cameras is that high end market in terms of purchasing has just like, it's just eviscerated. It's down the drain, mostly because I'm assuming like Hollywood is kind of up in the air. A lot of like the larger scale productions that need those big cameras are kind of up in the air right now, which is interesting because there's so much like requalification of like what makes a real filmmaker and what's a real job look like. And I guess using a sub $10,000 camera doesn't constitute as a real production anymore, but a lot of the places in that market, they're not working as much, so a lot of the tools for that are getting a lot cheaper. But yeah, it's actually really cool that Blackmagic is just absolutely waging war with everybody and saying that, hey, we're going to make a camera with an amazing sensor, it's going to have great readout, we're going to try to give you everything you can, we're also going to make it a lot cheaper. Hey, there's always that one guy that dislikes the video. I don't know who you are, but shout out to you, bro. Like, you're consistent, that's all I could say. Greetings from Northern Virginia. What up? Amaro Tees. What's going on? He's also here all the time. Speaking of people that are here all the time, I haven't even read this comment yet. I just read the name, and Rob's about to say something offside, isn't he? Kobe, big legend is that Big Hove still hasn't washed his hands and flesh after making an announcement this morning. Please don't stand up. No, I got pants on today. That was at like, so if you guys want to know the lore, I woke up to use the bathroom before when I woke up this morning, and that's when I read the Blackmagic news, and I'm like, okay, well, I can go to bed with this information, or like I could just make the video right now because my office is beside the bathroom door, and I can just do it now and then just go back to sleep after. I did wash my hands. Did I put on pants? No. And then I made the video, posted it, and went back to sleep, so there's that. Brian Gray joining a little bit late, but we're here. And honestly, man, we just started. It's only been like 12 minutes. And realistically, like, first 10 minutes is me trying to still figure out how to do live stream. So you didn't miss anything yet. You follow, have you ever tried the Fujifilm XS20 or XH2S? No, actually. No. The only Fuji camera, like, I honestly have tried has been the GFX models. I tried the X100V for like 5 minutes once, and it was way too small of a camera, and I hated it. So no, actually I haven't used either of those. Maybe. I did just find out that after, it's almost been like 3 months now. After 3 months of waiting, I do have a Nikon Z6 III and a ZF on the way. That should be preferably Monday. So I'll start working on that, but you probably won't see anything until like March. I have a trip to Italy at the end of next month, so that's where I'll probably use it the most. IMLG made a video about mentorship at Drop Time. Oh, Alijal, I can't pronounce that name. I got that wrong. Saw the email. I think I sent a reply back, mostly reiterating that like I'm not in the country for most of the next like till like after NAB, to be honest with you. I leave the country quite a bit. So mentoring, like I wouldn't be able to have or give you the amount of access that I think you need to actually properly mentor somebody. I think I sent that as a reply. I don't really know. Maybe it got saved to drafts. But yes, I know I did see your email. But yeah, as it currently stands right now, like mentoring, it's not in the cards at least until April, May, maybe. I mean, that's just based on like traveling and having a bunch of YouTube stuff. Like there's too many things in the air where I wouldn't feel comfortable taking on somebody because I don't think I'd be able to give that attention at this current moment. Maybe later, but at the moment, not right now. All right, Rob. Attempted to pull the trigger on the new Blackmagic camera, but I just got the Pixis and I'm loving it. We'll see how the cam does. Might pull the trigger and use as an A cam to my Pixis. I think that's a super sound decision. I mean, like as much as I'm excited about it, as much as it's in the price range and the spec that I would love it to be in, because I don't like with autofocus, that the camera that big, I could just pull from the barrel. I could use a Focus Pro or have an AC. I think it's a steal. You mean you still have to buy like accessories and stuff for it, because obviously it's a 12K camera. There's other things, but that's a good pickup, man. But I would say if you're using the Pixis now, you're happy with the Pixis. I'm happy with the Pixis. I just know that there are certain cameras where I'm like, yeah, if that imaginative camera comes out and it's at a price point I like, I would probably get it. But yeah, if you're happy with the Pixis, man, I think you're gonna have a good time. In fact, one of the productions that I have, February 20th, which is weird because that's on a Monday. That's January. Anyways, coming up next month, I have a pretty big. The talent is really big. I don't know how big the production size is. I'll find out in the budget call tomorrow. But we're going to shoot a lot of it on the Pixis and potentially the Ursa 12K if we can get hands on it. So many companies are moving to Sony cinema cameras. Yeah, absolutely they are, because they're reasonably affordable for the most part. I mean, Burano's incredibly useful for a lot of people that don't consume YouTube content, which is why I think a lot of people kind of dog on it a little bit. But also, like, they have, like, despite the fact of, like, Blackmagic dropping prices, Lumix always being super affordable, they are one of the soundest ecosystems you can get, to be honest with you. So I could see why, like, production teams would get them, because you can just get 5 FX3s, a Burano, and a couple FX6s, and then you're set for a couple of years. You're not guessing or wondering if things are going to match up. The creator shot on the FX3 is a game changer. Time will show. True. However, they also had like $80 million. So like, could have shot on an iPhone, but with $80 million, like, the FX3 matters a lot less when you have almost $100 million for your production. Hey, what up, Chi-Town? Y'all probably just as cold as Toronto, because I know Chicago gets real cold for absolutely no reason, and you guys are more south than us. John, so this price drop because BMD has something to announce at NAB. I don't know. You think I know? I got the email from Blackmagic about the Ursa price drop 5 hours after I already made the video. That's how, like, early I get stuff. I made the video before they sent me the email telling me that they're doing something. Mind you, I still haven't found a retailer that sells it that I could go and buy it, which is kind of annoying. Island guy in the house, dang, that Blazar looks fire. Hey, I've been like, you know what? As much as these Blazar lenses aren't for client projects, I like them quite a bit. Hang on, hold up. We got a super chat. You guys are not you guys aren't obligated to make super chats or do them, but I appreciate them every time. Let's go. Oh, yeah, okay. That was Al-Jalil. Okay. I hope I got that right, because I feel really bad. I get mad when people mispronounce my name, so I feel even worse when I do it to somebody else. Also, there's 48 people watching this and only 17 likes, and you all know that you can fix that with a simple click, and it's absolutely free. I wish I could, like, get that on a shirt, but I feel like it'd be pretentious, and also I'd get laughed at. One lens to rule them all, what would it be? Probably a 35 mil on, like, 35 mil for talking full frame. Probably a 35. It could do a lot with that. I'd hate my life for a lot of things, but I'd have to just kind of suck it up and live with a 35. Sorry, video explaining how freaking amazing there's a 12K sensor is from Team 2 Films. I can send it to you. This is its only. I saw that video and it's dope. And what was interesting, and it comes full circle because I totally forgot that this is happening, and it was hard to see it when someone was telling me. But if you dig deep in the archives, there is a live stream that I do with the designer of the Ursa 12K and the Pixis, and they were explaining to me how the sensor works. But I didn't understand what he was talking about. Or, like, I kind of did, but kind of didn't. Because I didn't believe him that you could shoot it, like, 12K, 8K, and 4K using the full width of the sensor. Because I didn't know how that worked. But, yeah, totally, he explained that to me. But it's cool seeing that video and, like, actually seeing what it looks like. Also, that is wild that I said, like, this video, and, like, 20 people just did it at the same time. Thoughts on fully rigging out more cinematic vlog cameras like the ZV-E10 and the ZV-E1? I think it makes a lot of sense. I think anything what you're going to do to your camera has to make sense in the context of what you're doing. Like, I wouldn't say in a vacuum just start doing stuff to your camera. I would say, like, figure out why you're rigging up the camera, and if you know why you're doing it, then yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. Hey, Eddie G is in the house. Ed, you are in Sunday's video, Pixis Rig with all my friends. As part of my Pixis run, I did a video where I ask everybody else about their rigs instead of me talking about mine. It's a fun little video, but that'll be on Sunday. It took a long time because we were waiting for certain individuals, not you. You put yours in earlier, to actually do that. And also, there was supposed to be a sponsor for it. There wasn't. Now it's gone, and we're gonna post it anyways. It doesn't have to be sponsored for me to post a video. You really think if Blackmagic create a camera that allows to vlog will change the game, in your opinion? I don't think they're going to. I mean, there's certain companies that have a certain design language, and I think they make it very clear where they want their market to be in. Blackmagic is a small company. They're not a very large company. So them getting to like vlogging cameras when they haven't figured out autofocus in their cinema cameras, I don't think that's going to happen. I would more put that on like a DJI to make a vlogging camera. But then again, like Sony has one, Canon I kind of has one, I guess. I haven't really looked at a lot of Canon stuff, to be honest. Lumix definitely has one with the S9. As much as people love or hate that. Nikon, I guess the ZF could be a vlog camera. So like there's companies coming up right now that I think will do it right before Blackmagic. Hello from Vancouver. Hey, West Side. I was actually there last month. And I'll probably be there in a couple more months. And it's probably a lot warmer there than it is here. They will all need to wait in line for training. Hello, I have 3 FX, I'm going to say 30s, and an A6700. I am watching your content to learn film techniques. For the price point, it has some feasible. Yeah, it does. The FX30, honestly, I'd still, like for someone who doesn't have it anymore, it's a really solid camera. Like, and this happened because it was something I was like in a DM conversation. I was asking if I still had the FX6. I rented a ton of times. In fact, I used it today for the video that I have coming up later on the month. The cameras I keep in my kit should not be many of the indication. So what you should have outside of the information that it requires to understand the things that are coming out of my mouth. So let me explain that. The information should be more important to you than what I have in my office, because the things in my office will constantly change based on the videos that are available, the clients that I have, and just me getting stressed out when I have too much gear in my house. Me not having an FX6 doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't have one anymore at the same time. It just means that I have other circumstances that doesn't require me to necessarily own one, but I rent one all the time. I figured that was just like a thing to say because we are going to have a lot of camera stuff this year. And I think sometimes what ends up happening is that some people will put, does a creator that I follow have this item, therefore I will get it. And that shouldn't be at the top of your list. In fact, that should be very close to the bottom. And what should be at the top of your list is the information being provided. So I wanted to just say that and probably say it as many times as I can, because if I could use influence to get you to buy a camera, I could use influence to tell you to use your brain. Won't be surprised if BM does similar with the Pixis. All I need is a Pixis Mark II for a proper V-mount. I don't know. Like with this whole price release of things, I could totally see them being like, hey, this is our Ursa Cine or Ursa Mini. Because then, like, what price would you even make an Ursa Mini now? Would you make it $5,000? I'm like, well, then it's $1,000. No, I guess $2,000 less than the 12K stripped down. Maybe there's a 5K camera somewhere in there. I doubt it. I think we might see them chill for a bit. Who knows? Oh, wait, hang on a second. I'm out to you on Monday. I will not be here on Monday. I will be shooting. And then I'm leaving to Norway. So unfortunately, no. I'll be gone. Sorry, Mark. The creator of the movie I hate to hate. I didn't hate it. It was just like it wasn't a great movie. It was a movie. I think we drove the interesting part, being the FX3 thing a little bit into the ground. That also made me kind of care about the movie less, because the Discord wasn't about the movie, but it was a sci-fi movie. It wasn't at the top of the list, wasn't at the bottom for me. How do you feel about the idea of Lumix going Z9 R5C style for the SH Mark II, and then a video focus BS1H with stabilization NDs? I think, here's the thing, and I've had meetings with different camera brands, and I'm not going to tell you which one. And effectively, what I try to explain is that if you had a 4K, 6K downsampled sensor, 60 frames at full frame, solid readout speed, threw an ND filter on it, but made it like the size of a Z8, Z9, I think everybody would be happy. If that was like your first run at it to like have a mirrorless camera with built-in NDs, I think everybody would be pretty happy about it. It's just which company is going to do it, which one's going to do it first, and which one's going to do it the best, essentially. But I don't really know if that's going to happen. Hey, man, what lens do you recommend for filming indoor soccer, football, tutorial, foosball, fast-paced? I'm filming on... I get a zoom lens. If I was to... I don't... Not any in particular, but like get one that's going to probably be like a 20, 24 to like a 70, 75. Anything in that category, you're probably going to be okay. But yeah. Yeah, my bad, bro. Take my like. My bad. Dang, I thought you was going to answer the super chat about... I did. Jaleel, I thought I did. Did I not answer it? Did I miss this wrong? Okay, hang on a second. I don't know if I didn't answer the question. If you have the question, ask it in here. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. But I answered the question about the mentorship thing. I'm honestly just not in the country for most of the quarter, really. Guys, smash that like button. Hey, Rob, I should know this better, but every time Rob says to smash that like button, I like read it word by word and be like, hey, that's a nice thing to say. And then I read when he talks about aunties and stuff, and I'm like, damn it. It's okay. Much love, Rob. Appreciate you, bro. Hey, Kofi, I'm trying to learn color grade better with DaVinci Resolve. You do any tips or tricks on the... I'm sure you're going to fix my profile. Jax also did not... I think I saw your message on Instagram. My bad. I tried to get everybody today, but I didn't. I would say... I have DaVinci Resolve stuff on it. What's the easiest way to do that? I think there's a playlist called DaVinci Resolve on my channel. If there isn't... if there isn't, just send me a message again. I saw it. I forgot to message you back, but my bad. At least I think this is the same person that DM'd me on Instagram. Really appreciate all your FX30 videos. They helped me make a decision pulling the trigger and buying it. Love your content. Thank you. It's one of the easiest entries into getting into high-quality video is that camera because it's so dang cheap. Looking forward to it. Yeah, it'll be fun. It's less people than I would expect it to be. I was hoping for at least 9. We have 7, but that's fine. Don't think Blackmagic should focus on autofocus since most of their demographic is all films, so not day-to-day vlog and social media content. Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, like, again, Blackmagic is a small company. Every company is going to have a consistent design language and the things that they want because that gives them their identity. I can totally see them never making a content creator's camera. And then just letting other companies do it, right? So, like, I think what's going to happen is, like, Leica, Panasonic, I'm trying to think of who else. I think there's another camera company I'm thinking of and I can't remember. I think they're just going to, like, make Lumix do it. Like, why would I sacrifice my brand identity instead of just making another company do it for you? And that's where you kind of got, like, the Log C and the GH7. I could totally see them being like, we're not going to make a sub $2,000 camera, or, I mean, Blackmagic would, but, like, they're not going to make a vlogging camera. Like, we'll just make Lumix do it. And then we'll all be really excited, except everyone who loves Sony cameras. James, hey all. Hello, James. What up, Ron? When's the physical product dropping? Look, D. I was trying to keep that under wraps. I leaked it by accident in one of the live streams. So we just finished getting more assets today. We are currently in the stage of getting it sent to creators for campaigns, and for the campaign, I should say. I was racking my brain on like what kind of video to make, and at first I was like, I'm gonna make this crazy short film, and then I'm like, no, I'm not, because I don't have any marketing budget to do that. So it is going to be like a regular scheduled video, but it's going to be a bit more funnier, and it's going to give you all the information of the product that we have, which is the whole point of the video. So that's fine. But it should be this month. And the reason why it's this month is I specifically asked the brand I'm collabing with to release a product on Black History Month for obvious reasons. And also, I don't know if this is true or not, but I might be one of the very few magnificently melanated creators on this platform, at least in the camera space, that has their own brand collab. So there's that. What are your thoughts on the Tribex Potato Jet tripod? Absolutely none. I've never used it. So I typically try to stray away from having opinions on things I haven't used. So I'm not wrong, because I don't like being wrong. I don't think anybody likes being wrong. But me particularly don't like being wrong. What's going on, everyone? Hey, a real trip. How are you? How are you doing? I always watch your reviews because it's always unbiased recommendations. Don't read some of my comment sections because some of them might disagree with you. But essentially, like, I like talking about camera gear when I'm not freelancing. And then I like talking about freelancing when I've screwed things up. And I want to tell you not to screw them up yourself. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Doing these kinds of videos, especially now when, like, truthfully, there are so many different brands that are like pulling you in either direction and want you to like talk about this thing and talk about that thing. Like, there are trips and rooms that I have no business in, that are brought there because of the information in these videos. And I always get weird about that if anyone's just going to get mad at me for taking on opportunities. But it's nice to know that some people are completely okay with that because they like to be entertained or learn something. Gang. Wait, hang on. What gang, though? Like, what are we throwing up? Actually, I'm not going to do that. My mother watches these videos. I'm not doing that at all. Carlos. Zalvidar. Oh, Zaldivar. Ooh. Sounds like an evil villain name. That's great. It sounds like a you know, like the Breaking Bad genre drama. It sounds like what a villain's name would be. Carlos Zalvidar. I don't know why I did that. I'm sorry, man. Doing well, brother. Can't complain. Live in SoCal, so living the dream. Oh, so SoCal's not affected by the fires, I'm guessing then. I just know California has fires. I don't know where in California. It'd be the same if someone said, like, the greater Toronto area is on fire, but you live in, like, Alabama or something, and you don't really know where that is. So that's interesting. Thank you so much in the FX30 con to help me so much when I was looking for my first camera. Hey, respect. There's a lot of... Hang on a second. Let me just do a roll call real quick. How many people have an FX30, whether you saw any of my videos or not? Just how many people objectively have one? Put a 1 in the chat, because I might run it back. There's a couple things on the FX30 that I think are interesting. For one, there's a bunch of Super 35 anamorphic lenses that I want to try out. In fact, I forgot to mention this. I may try the Sure 40mm and the Blazar 50mm Apex in the same day, and maybe have a little bit of content on that just because I want to have some fun. But I might do that on the FX30 if I can get my hands on one again. I don't want to keep one in the house because there's a lot of freaking cameras in here. But if I can borrow one, and also I can get my hands on both lenses at the same time, I will do that. Need that Blackmagic for sure. Blackmagic is not playing around, and I was going to title this video, Should Sony Be Stressed? Sony doesn't have an H in it. I was going to title this video, Should Sony Be Stressed? I mean, I may have to answer that again in like June, July, mostly because I want to see like what they do. I want to see what everybody else is going to do. Canon, I've kind of like mentally checked out of. I feel like everything they're going to do, they've done already. Nikon, I'm hearing some stuff about some Nikon things coming out. I'm hearing apparently there's Lumix things coming out. And then you have this Blackmagic release. So in terms of like, as much as like for the North Americans or like people that like are in Western countries that mostly pay attention to like 4 or 5 brands, I haven't heard anything about Sony. Like there's things up in the air about like, oh, this is going to be where the A7 IV is. And then like, we have no other details about the fact that it's supposed to come out based on like previous history. I'm ready to see what goes on. Oh, there's a lot of people with FX30s. You know what, man? Let me mess around and find out. I might get myself another one. Just get back into that content. It was fun. The FX30 is a really fun camera. Yes, it is about an hour away from me. It's Upper LA area where all the forest is. Eesh. Sorry. I hope you're safe, man. Like that. I don't know. What if that much things were on fire in my neighborhood, I'd be terrified. So, hope you're safe. Keep with the stellar work, Kofi. If you need a parkour athlete, I got connections. We talking connections in the city of Toronto, because I might actually mess around and find out. The hard part about Q1 of any year, especially in this tech space, is one, it's cold as crap most places. Two, Chinese New Year screws everything up because you might have a consistent conversation going on with brands, and a lot of the marketing companies are overseas or in China. And when they go on Chinese New Year's, they will not answer their emails. They're not answering phone calls. Don't call. Don't text. Nothing for like 2.5 weeks. So, and then even when that happens, they go back and they catch up on everything. So like, you're not going to hear anything for a while. But if we could find a place that's not cold as heck, maybe. 1.33 anamorphic lenses, man, they're coming out swinging, bro. It's a weird time to be alive in terms of like cameras and stuff, because again, the whole title of this video is cameras that used to cost so much more money are so much cheaper now. And the reason why that's awesome is because quite literally everybody that maybe had a barrier to entry can just enter now. If you want to, like, for example, like back in my day, like the A6300 was all the rage, and it was great for what it was, but it also sucked at a lot of things. For that same amount of money, adjusting for inflation, is the S9, which is a full frame 6K anamorphic enabled, all the other bells and whistles, all that other stuff, literally adjusted for inflation are almost the same price, which is insane. I'm debating on buying the FX30 A7S III or getting the old school SS5 Mark II. The only thing I have apprehensions with on older cameras is tech support. Sirui Nightwalkers. Yes? No? I did a video on them. I wish I had more to the question. I don't know what to say here. Can you explain the difference in ND filter stop since I saw you use one? I feel like it's a different question, but I'm guessing what you're saying is explain the built-in ND filters, or Carlos, give me more context. I'm happy to answer that. I just don't know what that question meant. Please do the Sirui 5 sniper lenses. Want to possibly get the anamorphic ones as well. You know what's weird is how funny how like Sirui did this thing where like they came out with the first anamorphics that had like they were made for mirrorless mounts. That every other company had mirrorless lenses, and then everyone forgot about Sirui. And they had a couple of full frame ones, but like they kind of missed the mark in a couple different ways on like all of them. And then Blazar came out. Everybody bought Blazar lenses, and now Surei's like, hey, we're trying to get that back. We'll make anamorphic lenses. And then Blazar's like, we're going to do that too. So it is kind of nice that someone's pushing them. But yeah, I think there's a high chance that I'll probably be next week where I will get my hands on both of them. I think the only missing part about that video is an FX30. So I may have to do a little bit of renting. Thoughts about the 12K Cine kit price of $15,000 when you can just build the base kit with everything included in the kit for $11K. I feel a bit scammed. I bought the 12K Cine in October. I mean, like, John, I put my thoughts out there. I'm excited about the fact that you can get it cheaper. I will say I am sorry that you got finessed. I mean, it's not really a finesse. Hang on a second. Let me just, before I say that, like, is every single accessory the same price? Like if you itemize it, I haven't itemized everything yet, but if it's all exactly the same and it costs less money, that would suck. But I would definitely say, like, in terms of buying the Ursa 12K body, that's the route I'm probably going to go. If I have the budget to do it, because I have a savings account for an FX6 Mark II whenever it drops. But if I could finesse it, like, I would get the Ursa 12K and then just kind of build up as I go. But I haven't really determined if I'm going to do that just yet. If you have too many cameras past the C1 or church. Actually, what I've been doing is I've been giving them to my siblings or other people in my family that want to make content. But also, some of these are cameras I have to bring back eventually. They just don't tell me when eventually is. And it'd be really awkward if I'm like, hey, that S5 Mark II that you wanted, or like that I was allowed to borrow for a while, I don't have it anymore. So there are certain things where like I do have to bring them back, and I don't like giving those away because obviously they're not mine technically. Is Red Komodo X worth getting it over the 6K full BM full frame 6K? I'm gonna say this. I am the least comfortable answering these questions without any other context. Also, my voice cracked. I I am not fully comfortable answering this question without other form of context. So I'm going to say consume as much information as you possibly can and hopefully make a decision based on those criteria. Do you think BM will drop anything new this year? Not at NAB. I would, if I'm going to guess, because I don't even know what they would drop this year. Like, what would you want from Blackmagic? They brought the Pixis out like last year. They haven't even made them, like, the monitors aren't even shipping yet. So like I can't even see them being like, let's move to the next camera because we haven't made our monitors yet. If it's anything, it's like an Ursa Mini 12K or 8K large format. Like that's the best I think you're gonna get. And even at that, I'm like, if it's $5,000, yeah, it's a little bit more than a Pixis and a little bit less than the Ursa 12K stripped down. But like, do you need that segmentation in the middle for them? I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody that just found out the news about the 12K. Actually, I mean, the accessories cost a bunch. And maybe. I don't know. And if it is, it's probably going to be the 12K or an 8K Ursa Mini that's still using the same sensor, just without the 12K bit part of it. And without the 9K, I guess, either. Is it a bad time to buy a Sony camera? Absolutely friggin' not. I bought a A7C Mark II like 2 weeks ago. So, no. Based on the cameras that are out right now, yeah, man, I still think you're fine. If ever, like, here's the thing with the cameras that have come out, unless one of the boxes in your checklist has changed based on a camera release, I'd say still buy it. It's just interesting to talk about these things truthfully, and like being the position that I'm in, I can get to use them. So like, I wouldn't necessarily stress about whether it's a good or bad idea. I see you use a Lumix system. How bad is the autofocus compared to the Canon and Sony? And is the Moire bad on the S5 IIX? I haven't noticed a lot of Moire. Mostly I shoot like in areas like these. Like a lot of my scenes look like this, or they're like outside in natural daylight. So I haven't really noticed it too much. I've been using, honestly, that S5 IIX has been on multiple videos on this channel. That S9, multiple videos on this channel for like 9 months. And just, I never said anything about it. And the reason why is possibly a video after about a year about potentially selective outrage and why some people get mad when Lumix says something but say nothing when it's Sony. Probably not going to be a video. But anyways, I've been using it for a while and I love them both. And they both have the same sensor and they're great. So, rental houses, small and middle-sized productions are definitely going to have more Ursa Cine 12Ks in the coming year. Abso-friggin-lutely. Like, I got a shout out to Viva Studio in Toronto. They were big Blackmagic fans. They had an Ursa 12K that unfortunately got stolen in a robbery. But I could totally see a lot of local rental shops, especially in Toronto, when there's like, I think there's 6 of them within 15 minutes of me. All of them are going to have Ursa Cine 12Ks, and a couple are probably going to have the price reduced Ari Alexa as well. And they're probably going to buy the licenses for it and stuff like that too. Any more BM news? I don't know. It turns out I put out the video of the news before I got the email from Blackmagic. So like, if there is, we'll all find out together at the same time, more than likely. I think the Ursa 12. I think the base Ursa 12K is a great idea, but I want the media module and the battery plate. So I don't think it's a great deal to buy that over the full kitted out version. I mean, if you do the math for it, I think the battery plate's $100 and the module's $1,700. So like, we're talking like even if it's $2,000 more, that's $9,000 versus 15. Like, you'd still be saving $6,000 if you bought those two things. And you still have to buy batteries if you buy the full kit on the Ursa 12K anyway. So like, saving $6,000 is a great amount of money. So, in my opinion, at least. What up, James Jackson? I took a long nap, so now I'm back in doing a live stream after doing the video from this morning. How much money do I have to make this year to justify an A9 III? I don't know. How much is it Canadian? Like $8,000? I would say, okay, hang on a second. If I was to make a plan, I used to do this when I was buying cameras. If I needed $8,000 to buy a camera, what I would do is I would have like batch recorded photo shoots for like $400, and then I'd try to like put 8 of them on one day and do them all on like a Saturday or a Sunday, or even both if I really needed to. And I'd be able to make that money a couple months, like maybe 3. You have to work really, really hard at promoting it and plan really, really far in advance to get everything filled and everything done. But like, realistically, if you plan ahead. You probably can't afford most cameras that you're looking to buy. It's just a matter of compartmentalizing how much it costs divided by how much work you have to do, and then just doing a lot of work, honestly. FX30 gang stand up. I feel like I raised an army of FX30 users and then sold the FX30, which I still am a little bit upset about with myself for doing. But it was because I took a trip to Ghana where I was in a very uncontrolled environment. So the FX30 made more sense. So that's what I went to. But it's so on the table that I'm probably going to buy another one, to be honest. Be real with me. That was as real as it gets, man. Like, I would say divide everything up in terms of how much money you need and then just work to piece it together. I want to see what you're going to do with the Ursa 12K, but are you going to sell the Pixis? I don't know yet. My thing is that until I finish the Pixis run, which because of the Ursa 12K sitting, and I mean, even when, like, they announced it today, will we see it anytime soon based on, like, Blackmagic's history of releases? Maybe not. Probably not. So if it doesn't release in the next quarter, I'll probably like within 3 months, I'll finish the Pixis run. I'll have the 25 videos on the Blackmagic Pixis. That'll be when I'm like, even 20, I'll be like, okay, do I want to sell this thing? I think it's more of a matter of like, if I have the money at the time, then I'll just buy it. If I don't, then yeah, I'll sell the Pixis to get it. Provided that I have to have at least 3 jobs coming up. Like the way that I buy cameras, I need at least 3 jobs coming up that I use that camera to justify selling and buying the new one. Hey James, you got fans. What Blackmagic continued to do is absolutely crazy. Working in broadcast and on the filmmaking side, these prices make everything almost no sense. Yeah, no, Blackmagic's been doing Blackmagic. Like I said, I didn't want to demonetize myself. Blackmagic is a crackhead in the street fight that even as you continue fighting, he's not going down and keeps fighting, and you eventually tire out and just give up and let them do what they're going to do. Blackmagic is a crackhead in a street fight. That's what it is, and they will keep fighting and they'll keep being competitive. I'm making a second cinematography reel, feeling confident in my skills with some of my shots. Hey, that's good to hear, man. I still have to update my reel, and I haven't since 2021. It's been 4 years. I should probably do that, but I haven't yet. Definitely going to force everyone's hands because they are all around production suite from production to post. Yeah, they're that, and it's going to be really hard for other brands that are making cinema cameras to be competitive with them now, because they'll just keep dropping the price until you eventually give up. If you buy it all separately, it comes to about 4K cheaper than the kit. Definitely weird. Yeah, that is super weird. John, I'm really sorry that happened, man. I guess, like, one of the downsides of Blackmagic's, like, pricing is that, like, almost never trust the first, like, 6 months of them releasing anything, because it'll go down a little bit later. And it also happens completely without warning. So, like, even the price drop on the 6K full frame. I had sold my 6K full frame to pre-order the Pixis, and I think the price dropped like 3 days later. Also, I mean, like when I got rid of my my Red Komodo X, I actually took the money, invested in land and stuff like that because I had the full frame. Anyways, what ended up happening is like the price went down, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, like dodged a bullet. But yeah, no, they tell you that like we all get that stuff at the exact same time, which is about 8 hours after the article comes out. Oh, I see 2.6 and 6.9. Oh, okay. That makes more sense, Carlos. So I would say if you are someone in like a really bright environment, maybe like you're on a beach or somewhere that's super sunny, I would kind of keep a 6 to 9. And if you're somewhere where it's a bit more overcast and darker, 2 to 6. Just means the more stops you have, the darker it's going to get. But also keep in mind, probably you're going to want to have both, because there's going to be times where you only need 2 stops of ND. And if you only have a 69 filter, then you don't have it. Then there's also some times where 6 stops isn't enough, especially if you want to shoot wide open. So you need a 6 to 9. So I would recommend having 2. John, somehow I doubt that. I think you might be missing something. No, Ron, go and do the math, man. He might not actually be missing anything when you check everything out. At least not $4,000 worth. I have heard that a bunch, though, is that like the Ursa body, when you kit everything out from jump, compared to the kit, it actually might cost a little bit less. Yeah, man, parkour in the T-Dot is a parkour gym. Pretty sure you shot in the old space near Stockyards. Yeah, I have. The new space is Downsview Airplane Hangar. Oh, I know exactly where that is. Yeah, I know exactly where it is. Oh yeah, I've been to Monkey Vault. I've been to Monkey Vault. You probably know who Little T is. I've been friends with her for a couple of years. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. What new innovations are you looking forward to? Spatial video stuff seems cool. I would love to see spatial video do better. Hard part is that you're very much relying on the audience to actually like it, and that's the thing. I think we haven't got there yet with like good spatial content in general. In fact, and I have no shame admitting this, I played like a 3D spatial like video game in BC, and I gave myself a panic attack, and I had no idea what was happening. Like middle of the game, my hands got clammy. I started getting like really, really warm in a really cold room. I couldn't breathe. Like every part of my body felt like it was pulling into the ground. And then I took the headset off. I'm like, I gotta go. So I don't know if that's ever happened to anybody else, but it definitely happened to me. It was super embarrassing. But as much as I want to see spatial video do well, I don't know if I'll get into it. Not to mention the 8 terabyte module versus buying 8 terabyte. Yeah, buying 8 terabytes of CF Express cards is expensive. I have 8 terabytes of CF. No, I have 6 terabytes of CF Express cards. It's expensive. Making my first YouTube video, I wanted to ask. Oh, the Enfield team. Okay, Carlos, I think I just answered that, but I think you also just like re-spelt out what you said before, which helped make sense. So you break the Blackmagic news this morning, and I may get that now. Hey man, like, hold on for a sec, because I got to get more information for it, but it is at least, like, look into it. Like, look into it. You got to buy a bunch of accessories and stuff like that. You got to keep aware of still. But I think you'd be able to have a lot of fun with it. Good day. So in terms of the Ursa 12K kit, I'm pretty sure you're going to need the battery plate, which I think you get from a third party, or you can get it from Blackmagic Direct. I know they use, I think there's a plate for a gold mount and a B mount. B mount I'm not super familiar with. I don't have any cameras that use them, but I do know they're expensive and they're big batteries. And I would say probably a top handle. Like the Ursa top handle is like $200. If you're, Edmund, you're in Toronto, so DV Shop has them. You can grab them pretty quick. Also, Edmund, I would say watch tomorrow's video to the end. That's all I'm going to say. What else am I thinking of? Because you have the CF Express card module. So you have memory and a power source. It literally has a monitor strapped to it. And a handle. Like you get a handle, the cards and batteries and a plate. And you should be okay. Like at least it'll turn on, you can record footage. And then everything else that you need, you just do the same thing you do with every other cinema camera and you buy it as you need it. Factoring everything, it's about 1 to 2K off the kit. I can understand why some people may feel a way about it. I don't think it's a big deal in my opinion. To be honest, I feel like not that many people had bought it for them to make a calculated decision to make it so. But at the same time, like, if we're going to be surprised about Blackmagic selling stuff cheaper than it was when it came out 8 months later, we're hurting our own feelings, I think, at this point. They did the same thing with the 6K full frame. They did the same thing, I think, even with the 6K Pro. They're probably going to do it with the Pixis at some point in time if not enough people buy it. And then you have things like the Ursa 12K as well. So I could totally see them doing stuff like that. I need to check on that because that makes no sense. Ron, Blackmagic don't make no sense. We already well established Blackmagic is a crackhead in the street fighting people. Sometimes they do things that don't make sense. They're dropping the Ursa 17K this year. They are. And they're dropping it for the same price as, what was it, the Raptor, Red Raptor. So that's going to be cool. We have a lot of options. We have way too many options for cameras now, which is insane. Because now you like, where everyone's kind of fitting into is that like, you can kind of choose what kind of shooter you are in like a commercial documentary or like a short film, even like a production, like a larger production standpoint. Like the Red Raptor obviously has the ability to have global shutter if you get the Raptor X. You have all those things, the frame rates, the red code raw. And then if you're someone who likes a little bit more of like a broadcasty feel, you can go with the obviously there's a 12K. And then if you're someone who's like reality TV show documentary, you could still go with the Burano. I mean, some people are going to have opinions about the Burano, but like you can still go for that. And all three are going to make you happy, but it's cool that all three are options and they're kind of different in their own way. BMD will drop the 17K OLPF. Is the 17K not already an OLPF? Which is kind of surprising for how much it is or how big it's supposed to be. The only thing I see them doing at NAB is an update on the Video Assist 12G monitors or the A10 Mini line. I agree with you on the Assist, mostly because I think by the end of the year, the FX line cameras are going to also have Blackmagic RAW. So I can see them doing an update. I want the Pixes. Ron, if you want that, then you want the Ursa 12K stripped down, essentially. I don't think they're going to make that, unfortunately, just because, like, I'm sure from what I remember from the live stream that we did, that sensor, from what I remember we did from the live stream, the sensor is super expensive, which is why the rest of the body could, like, the cameras are cheap because they're not changing too much about the camera body, but they're getting really, really expensive sensors and putting them in there. That's probably the reason why they can make these cameras cheaper, because they put so much money into the sensor. So I don't know if you're gonna get that from the Pixis, because you're gonna end up paying $5,500, and at the point of like $5,500, and you may as well just get the Ursa 12K stripped down anyways. So I don't know. If you're in LA or Orange County area, would love to grab some coffee. Been watching a video before Mark Bone roasted your channel. Hey, respect. That is vintage. That's like, you're talking like January 2022. Enjoy watching you. Except your shit getting sold. That was sad. Yeah, that sucked. But some of it got replaced. Like, I have a tripod from Sure. This is the SQ75 and the VHS10 head on there, which is way better than the tripod that got stolen out of my car. I haven't replaced cinema lenses yet, and I haven't got new lights yet. I still haven't figured out what kind of lights I want to go with for this year, so I've just been kind of like looking around and waiting to see what everyone else comes out with. And then for cinema lenses, I still have the loaner from DZO. They haven't asked for them back in a few months, which it doesn't mean you could keep it, but it always makes me weary, because I'm like, when are they going to call and ask for that? And then I have my 40mm, which actually was spared. Didn't get a battery generator yet, though. But all these things I'm getting, which is kind of nice. I know you're not much of a Canon guy, but I'm upgrading my A cam and having trouble between the Canon Z70 and the R5C. Finding similar deals on both used and currently shot on the R7. Any advice? Evaluate what you need and then just buy off of that. Like, if you were someone who's going to need like a camera with an ND filter, because maybe you don't want to spend money on NDs, then the C70 is probably the only option between the two that makes a lot of sense. If I remember the R5C specs, I think the R5C has like 8K or something like that in it. If you don't need 8K, well, then you don't need 8K. I wouldn't get the R5C. So it all depends on kind of what you want to shoot. My recommendation for anyone who is stuck between camera companies or what cameras to buy, and it sounds really stupid, but people don't do it. Have a checklist, like a physical checklist of everything that you need in a camera, like things that are needs, things that are wants. Don't consider a camera until all the needs are checked. And then like the thing to decide between two cameras would kind of be what the wants are, because at the end of the day, no matter what you pick, you'll be happy. But like if there's a thing that makes it kind of nice and, you know, then you get that instead. So I think even when watching review videos, even when you're stuck between cameras, if that isn't your North Star, what ends up happening, unfortunately, is that you buy something that you don't need. And then some people will blame that on the person you watched on the other side of a screen rather than whatever. I'm not saying that's you, Christian. I'm just saying that, like, just kind of, you might have to do that exercise in doing like a pros and cons list. I asked Blackmagic, they sent me an itemized list with all the prices. I'm telling you, it comes set to 4K cheaper. John, I don't know what to tell you, man. Except I'm sorry, because that's upsetting. When they need to release a 12K version, 12Ks they need to make proper 4K image for delivery. Okay, so yeah, don't expect. We're not going to get that. I don't think we're going to get that 12K sensor in a Pixis. I'm so convinced that we're not going to. So I guess we just have to be okay with this 12K strip down. I see 2 to 5 stops and 5 to 9 stops on D-filter. Wanted to know which one you prefer and why. Get both. Get both. Get both. ND filters are one of those things where you kind of need ND filters, right? And I can't, like, if I tell you not to get one and then you're in the beaches of Miami in high noon and you don't have the right ND filter, you'll hate my guts. Get both. If gas wasn't a real thing, what piece of equipment or accessory would you recommend? The one that fits the context of the one that you're shooting. I don't, like, the question in itself only further encourages the gas if the gas wasn't. That's confusing. yeah, accessory, I would say whatever you need it for, really. If you need a color checker, then I would say have a color checker. If you need an ND filter, I would get ND filters. Again, all of these things, and the reason why these videos exist, or the reason why they should be consumed, is to just take the information and then see if it's applicable to the thing that you need it to do. And if it's not, no worries, that's cool. But if it is, at least like have an idea of what to do so you can make an informed decision. Because if you wiped away gear videos from the internet, the only frame of reference you'd have is like minimum wage retail workers that don't care about your feelings. So yeah, I think sometimes gas becomes a thing where, yeah, there are some people that will like just kind of buy things to get the dopamine hit. But realistically, the recommendation and pretty much everything on this channel is always going to be contextual to the thing that you need it to do. And I hope that comes across at least. What are your feelings in the future of buying cameras based on the mount and codecs versus the features and accessories? Example, budget cams like the Pixis and L mount. Oh, hang on a second. I think what's going to end up happening is, and I'm going to be completely honest, just based on like the whole tariff thing and everything else, I think we're going to get a lot of cameras that are going to have added quality of life features, but I don't know if we're going to get a lot of new sensors. And I think that's going to be kind of the move now, because I honestly, when I look at some of the footage and like stuff like that, there's not a lot I'm unhappy with. Like there's sometimes where like I'll film on my FX or my A7C2 and be like, oh, this would look better on my Pixis. That happens from time to time, but it's not such a big deal that I'm upset about it. I don't think we're going to get a heck of a lot new sensor technology, but I think you're going to get a lot of like, and I hope you get a lot of like weird cameras and companies like trying new designs to really make that shooting process a bit easier. So I guess to answer that question, I think we're going to see more features, like more quality of life features and not new sensors. In the budget and in sort of the high-end market as well. I think you're going to see them kind of meld together. Like the Brano was kind of like that melding together where like a cinema camera that has IBIS and autofocus, but it's also 30 grand, but also has a PL adapter. I think you might see like more weird things like that. A true pocket-sized camera from Blackmagic, like the OG BMCC, would be amazing, like a 6K. I'm on the side of that, but I also think if I'm Blackmagic and I'm like, where do I spend a lot of my money? I'm sure the Pixis was expensive, and I actually know for not a true fact, but like I know very intimately that like the Pixis needed to do well, and it did for the most part, from what I can understand. I don't know if they're going to kind of change up their design of their cameras because they need to keep them cheaper, right? Like the only way we're going to get affordable cameras is that we have to be very okay with the body not changing, and sometimes the hardware doesn't match up with the body. Giovanni Hernandez, my dude, regular on the channel. Thank you, man. Has anyone heard about Nexus G1? It dropped. Tricore, didn't that video also only come out like a month ago? Like, I think the reason why that's happened is like, A, it's Christmas, it's Chinese New Year. Like people I think are still getting through holidays, so I could see why nothing else has come up of that, because like we're still like internationally there are still holidays going on, so I think that's why. I'm starting YouTube. We got the FX30, the 15mm f1.4 Sony lens, and the EMB10 mic. Would that be good to use to come for content? Carlos, I'd say start making content and we'll find out. It's the easiest way to do it. Just easy way to do it, to find out if something will last a test of time, especially if you haven't already. Put it through the test of time. I'm not going to say 100 videos. People get mad when I say that. Make a substantial amount of videos. And then you tell me. Now we're talking. Yeah, man, make that money, bro. You just got to, like, the easiest way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And if you want to buy an A9 III, you're going to have to eat a really large elephant. I don't know how to help you. PL. Oh, yeah. Okay. So John is listing out them. Dang. I mean, John, I wish I knew I had a remedy for you. I wish I had the correct arrangement of words. I don't have them. I mean, if you want to buy another one, it's cheaper. Again, because this is live and I don't have like answers thought of. All I could say is that sucks. I'm really sorry. On the bright side, you could buy a new one. But I also have no idea if they're going to do this again. And like knowing their history, absolutely the price is going to go down within a year. Which is also tough because if you need a camera today, then like that's also super hard to do as well. So it's hard to make that decision. I don't know. Because from the consumer angle, I would like it if things were more affordable if I don't buy them like really close to when they release. But on the flip side, if I bought them close to release, well, now my resale price went down. Capture One versus Lightroom, which one do you recommend? Depends. I like using Capture One for my Fuji stuff, and I use Lightroom for everything else. So the reason why I use Capture One is because all of the film simulations will like retain themselves even in the raw photo on Capture One. I don't know how to do it on my on Lightroom, and when I do, it looks a little bit off. So I just like gave up on trying to keep making it happen. Been waiting on a Pixis monitor. They take so long to release stuff. I think Blackmagic has a gigantic problem with like getting really excited about new things coming out, and then we just don't hear about them for 6 months. Because like we were supposed to, like when we had the whole Blackmagic Pixis deal, that we kind of found out after the fact. Like we had a meeting with them like at NAB. So like after I'm gonna sell my red Komodo. It was like 3 days later. They're like, we'll just give you one, and I'm like, it's already gone, but okay. Yeah, they take a long time. They take a really long time to get that stuff done, which is super frustrating. Because I could use the Pixis like for everything, for a lot of things really, and it could be easy to travel with if it had that monitor, and it just doesn't, and it's super frustrating. Would be cool if Sony Burano would get a price reduction. Ari, Blackmagic, and Red have been doing it, so fingers crossed. Again, when we're talking about every other company, this makes sense, but I know how rigid Sony can be. We're getting a giant price swing downward. I would love to see it. If the Burano ended up being like 15K, that's a really good cop actually. I don't know if I would do it, but like it's a really good cop. And just became the FX9 too. Like they just didn't release the whatever FX9 replacement is. Burano's 17,000. Yeah, it's a lot more viable. I hope they do. Every other company's doing it. I just don't know if they're going to. Got my first Blackmagic this month. Bit of a learning curve, but the quality is worth it. The Worship Hub, you are going to enjoy that Blackmagic quite a bit, and it's going to go great. Worship Hub, you went to Guelph, right? What you know? What you know? Who you heard it from? What did you see? And be very careful what you put in the chat publicly. What did you hear, and what did you see? Be very careful. Did you go to film school or University of YouTube? I went to business school, well, at Guelph. I didn't get my first camera until I was like 26 years old, and I'm turning 33 this year. So, no, I did not go to film school at all. I just went to YouTube University, and I still don't know if I know what I'm doing. How are you feeling about the store? How are you feeling about the short stash? Thinking about throwing it on my X100V and my Q3. I have a way too in-depth video about that filter for no apparent reason. Actually, no, Garrett's a friend. So I like it quite a bit. I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm using it right now. Like, watch this. And I made a reel about skin tones. So right here, look at my face. Like, this is the key light right here, right? So that's when I turn the effect off. If you look on like this side, this is kind of shiny. The highlights are kind of harsh. On darker skinned people, especially the bright key lights, it sucks because it always kind of makes you look plasticky. But if I like turn this, let me see if I can do this right here. All that went away. All of that went away. Like all of this right here, it's all nice and controlled. All my highlights are back. That alone, especially in like controlled environments where I have lighting that's controlled, I don't need ND filters. That alone, for me, makes a short stash everyday filter worth it. And like the 1/4 mist isn't that much. Like even looking at this, like my lights in the back are halated, but like my face isn't super lifted. Like everything looks good. It doesn't look crunchy. It also doesn't look too dreamy as well. So yeah, that in of itself, that did it for me for getting them. And that's why I asked Garrett to send me 6 of them. And he sent me 6 of them, which is hilarious. Dope. Okay. Definitely when it comes to Blackmagic design, make sure you really want the camera at that moment or you'll... Yeah, man, like buying a Blackmagic... Lumix like is like that too. Like you got to really want and love that camera. and hope that like you are not going to be affected mentally when they inevitably drop the price, because they do all the time. Will you shoot 12K? I don't have a computer for that. I don't actually know. Ask me that when I get the Ursa 12K at my house. Ask me that again, whether or not I have it at the moment. Actually, I have it for a production in 3 weeks. Hopefully, I asked about renting it, so we'll see. Don't need to shoot 12K. It shoots 8K or 4K in B-RAW with no crop and takes info from the 12K sensor, which is amazing. James, we know it's amazing. It's so cool, and I want to use it, and I have a big shoot coming up, and I'm super excited. I really hope that I can get a loaner for it. How about the coverage? How many EF lenses are out there will cover the Ursa 12K sensor? There's a ton of EF lenses that are available, especially like the cinema lenses. Like a bunch of companies were still making EF mount for a long time. Thing is, you could always just, I think it's like $300. You could just get the sensor changed out for a PL if you really want to. LF with the 40mm and the 21mm RLEDs would be crazy. Hey, don't give me ideas. Don't give me ideas, because I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll play around and find out. Roy, it's a 35mm full frame sensor. Any full frame lens will work. Oh, thought it was larger full frame. You are thinking of the Ursa Cine 12K. Oh, okay. Well, there's that. Oh, okay. I think everyone's just up. Okay. Everyone's kind of beat me to it. Any cinema cameras with an internal ProRes RAW on the horizon? I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. I kind of hope. But at the same time, ProRes RAW when you're a DaVinci Resolve user really sucks. You have to buy a license to convert to Cinema DNG for each camera that you have it licensed for each computer, which is about $150 each one. It really adds up, and it sucks. But not that I'm aware of. I'm trying to think if there's any. No, I don't think so. I know the GH7 had like ProRes RAW, then it had something else in it too. Maybe their future cameras might. Here's hoping, but I think the GH7 is a unique case. I have a question not related to this, but would you buy a new body or a new lens? Look at it as a person. Well, it depends what you use your camera for, and if the camera still works. Like if you had a camera from 2014, 2015, and it's 2025 now, like that shutter might run out. So maybe a body, but I would check your shutter count to see if that changes. I think we're referring to vlog cameras. Oh, internal ProRes. Yeah, the GH7 has ProRes RAW internally as well. Love your video. Saw seeing Athena versus the Arliss Prime. Lightweight and cheaper price. They both look very different. I would say the Athenas, I would put more, like the Athena lenses, I would more so want to see, like they'd be more IRIX lenses, which IRIX are kind of like cheap Sigma Cines, whereas the Arliss Primes are what I would kind of put to like being cheaper Vista Prime. So it's kind of an apples and oranges thing. Not really, but like, cause they're both really, they're all cinema lenses at the end of the day. I would say if you like the lightweight, if you're working with a lighter setup, just rock the Athenas and call it a day. But if you are a fan of, say, bigger lenses, you want a little bit more character, but you still want it to be like detailed. It's not sharp, but it's detailed. I like the Arliss Primes, but it depends on what you're doing. I think that's the easiest way. Did you shill hard for that 12K? I don't think I'm gonna get, like, I'm going to have to pay my own money to do it. So like, as hard as I'm going to shill with it, I'm gonna pay that whatever price tag that is, and I'm not excited to see what it is in Canadian. I'm gonna have to fork over that money, and I will enjoy every penny of that purchase. So also shout out to Brandon Talbot, Caffeinated Cameras. Make sure you guys go and follow him. He has made a secondary channel from his fitness tech channel, and he actually does like some of the coolest, most unique stuff, which is really fun. People are convinced the FX3 2 is coming early this year. Thoughts? No, it's not. Here's the thing. In the order of operations, they haven't even released like their larger FX line camera yet. We've heard nothing about it, and I don't think we're going to until the second half of the year. And then after that camera, we are probably maybe gonna, if there is an A7S4, maybe we'll hear about that. And then after that, then we'll get whatever would replace an FX6. Then after that is going to be whatever the FX3 Mark II is. And I think Sony's made it very clear that that's not anytime soon. That may be just next year. And based on the conversations that I've had in terms of like how long, and also keeping in mind how long it takes to develop a camera, I don't know how close they are even getting that part. Like, I think maybe we'll see like the bigger, whatever, like the FX9 was, like something that's not the FX6, but not quite the Burano. We may hear about that maybe like in the fall, maybe. But I don't think you're going to get an FX3 Mark II. And I don't know. I think maybe we watch Andrea Pizzini a little bit too much. And we get really excited about things. And then when you believe something enough, we believe it to be true. Hey, we got another super chat. Super chat. Oh, for $20. You know how much Canadian that is? That is like a month of rent. For Marcus Robinson, keep it up, man. Road to 100K subs. Here we go. We are almost at 55,000 subscribers, which is insane because this channel started effectively in January 2022. So like 3 years ago. So 3.5 years would be a great acceleration to get 100K. I just want to make a lot of videos. That's the thing that I can control. I can control how often I come on live. I can control how often I upload. I can control how many YouTube shorts I want to make. And I'll just do that to the best of my ability and just see where the cards lay at the end of 2025. But thank you so much for that super chat. That also helped pay for my girlfriend's breakfast that I bought her this morning. So thank you. Jay's nice film. Also the Z9. I'm holding out possibility Red Nikon ProRes RAW Unicorn. There are 3 companies that I'm going to say over the next 18 months to just keep an eye open when you go to bed. And it's going to be DJI, Nikon, and Lumix. I think because we've been so used to Sony, like it's kind of predictable what's going to happen next. Those other 3, I do not know. And I'm very excited to see what they do. And it's very interesting, the things in the conversations that I've been able to have in terms of like where things could possibly go. But keep your eyes open for the companies that you don't expect to like do weird things, because they're probably going to do some weird things, like buy Reb, which I still think was a joke. I don't think they will. They're having the BR firmware at the end of the year. Which camera is getting the BR? I think we're talking about Sony, but yeah, I don't think if we're talking about the FX line, I don't think they're going to do it. We need less camera releases. We're good for the next 8 years. Yeah, this is the thing. I think I was talking about this with Chris Brockers, but like, I wish there was like a trade deadline on like who can release cameras. So I think like by the end of 2026, like December 30th, 2026, whatever you were going to come out with, you have between now and then to do it. And then everybody shut up till like 2033, at least. Like everybody shut up. Like I don't want to hear nothing for 5 years. Everyone be quiet. We're just going to chill out. And then we'll come back in like 2034. And then we'll release whatever we want to release. Like how Apple does releases, but just like farther apart. Becoming racing. I'm debating between getting the A6700 and the FX30. I'm going to continue photo and video, but I'm leaning towards the FX30 as it does crispy photos and better video. My thoughts. If I remember correctly, those are very much the same camera, except one has a viewfinder and what doesn't. So if you're okay without a viewfinder, then get the FX30, because it sounds like you're okay with doing photo and doing video and probably want to lean more to video. But if you're less on video side, then get the A6700. But effectively, the sensors are like exactly the same. Also, you lose the SD card part with the A6700. You have one SD card slot instead of 2 CF Express Type A slots, which can come in handy, especially if you're doing professional video. So it's up to how much you like video, really. I wish the Blackmagic Design 6K Pro had CFS card slots. It's got CFast too, but I would love to. Yeah, I would like that too, because CFast cards suck. I hate them. I had a Canon C200 for a while. CFast cards are gross, and I dislike them. Also, then I also had them on the Red Komodo, the original when I rented it for a month. Also sucked. Didn't like it either. Why FX6 Mark II should drop cameras like the FX3 are older. That's the point. Like, I think we all somehow caught this collective lie that this camera's coming out this year. And then we huffed it as much as we could and then just convinced ourselves that it's happening in 2025. I don't think it's going to. And I'm pretty sure Sony gave us a lot of signs that it's not going to. And from the people that I know at Sony, I don't think it's going to. Hey, Govey, I got the Komodo a few months ago. Absolutely loving it. Hey, that's what's up. Komodo's still a great camera, and I'm sure you probably got it at a really great deal. I'm starting my video production company. I'm going through a checklist of the Pixis and the Ursus and E12K. I currently own the Blackmagic 6K full frame commercial dock and corporate work. Yeah, Lucas, this is exactly exactly how you should buy cameras. You should have a physical list of things that you need for the job and only buy things based on those needs. And watching reviews and stuff is fun. It shouldn't be a consideration unless it checks off all of those boxes first. That should be it. That should also, do I have noise reduction on? No, I don't. Sorry. That should be how we buy cameras and consume this content. It's just fun information and just having a little bit more experience than the minimum wage retail worker that just wants to go home. Eat an elephant. No wonder he's dressed as big. Rob, I need someone leave an emoji every time you see something almost out of pocket coming out of Rob. And it's about to happen. I'm going to read it and accidentally fool myself. And also, we are at view to like parity. We have 59 likes and 59 views. So you guys are doing exactly what you were asked to. Thank you very much. Which PL adapter are you using? I'm using a Latreader. I can't say that word right, but it's the PL adapter that you see when you go on Amazon and it's like $244 and it's like super not expensive, but it's also not the Nisi. That one. And every single one that has looked for a PL adapter knows exactly which adapter I'm talking about. But also be careful because this is my second one. My other one is broken. Oh shoot, it's broken. I have a broken PL adapter somewhere in the house and I want to make sure I don't accidentally use it again. Appreciate it. You have motivated me to start. Thank you. Carlos, my friend, I need you to maybe do 2-3 videos. And then next time on the live stream, we will watch it. Maybe we will watch on the live stream. Hey, if that's something you're comfortable with. Buy gear you could bill for. It doesn't matter the cost as the gear is paid for by actual work. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Exactly what I wish you could pin a comment. Yes, if you're using whatever you're buying for work, then it almost doesn't matter because you're using it for work, right? You're going to make that money back. But if you're just, again, please, for the love of Christ, and I say this as someone who also has 500 videos, which particularly involve camera gear. I understand that. Please use the information objectively and then buy cameras based on that, and keep in mind this advice, because if you can't pay the money back, then you're eventually just going to build up resentment for me, and I didn't do anything but just tell you what a thing does. But yes, absolutely. W comment. I'm holding out on buying cinema camera until DJI makes a version 2 of their Focus Pro. Version 1 has many weird things I don't like. Oh, that's actually really sad because I like my Focus Pro quite a bit, and I actually can I talk about that now? Yeah, I got it like way before you guys heard about it. Like I had it, I think maybe like months, like at least a couple months before, and figuring out the first time was horrible to figure out. It took me much closer to the release date of it that I'm like, oh, I get it, how it works now. But yeah, it is a little bit cumbersome especially if you're using different lenses all the time and a different camera all the time. How do you think tariffs will impact the camera community, and if gear is going up a certain amount percentage, should we increase our prices by the same percent? I mean, yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. The trickle-down effect, unfortunately, with the cost of goods to make anything is going to go up, then it obviously is going to go down to its consumer. So if it costs me more to buy my camera, then it's going to cost my clients more for me to use said camera on a gig. Now, in terms of how the tariffs are going to affect the community, I think Mark Weir, Mark W. I keep forgetting which his last name is. Glasses, really great guy, does a lot of stuff on budget stuff. He actually did a really detailed video about like every single company that's going to get affected directly by tariffs because they're on the list of the countries Donald Trump imposed tariffs on. And I think for the most part, a lot of camera companies are okay, excluding DJI, Lumix, and Fuji for the most part. So you might see those cameras get a bit more expensive, or you just might see them not making a ton of new stuff anytime soon, which sucks and it's really sad. But yeah, I think some companies are fine because they moved their manufacturing, so they might keep the prices relatively the same. But prices are going to go up. They're absolutely going to go up, 100%. I accidentally got rid of the comment section and I found it again. Okay, there we go. Oh, there is a lot of people in here. I am going to try my best to get through all of this. I'm going to go a little bit faster, maybe. Okay. That's why I don't purchase a camera only when I know an investment in 3 or 4 months. Yeah, my thing with the cameras, and like what's cool about like having a YouTube channel is that my turnover in terms of like recouping an investment is like twice as fast because what ends up happening is that you have your freelance work that you use the camera with, and then if you're making content with the freelance work while using the camera, that usually converts well in Amazon affiliates. And then if you have like a sponsor based on making the video about the freelance work, then that also is like, it's a kind of a compounding thing, and you're actually making money from like 6 different ways of every camera you buy, which makes it easier to buy one camera. So if I buy like a Pixis, for example, maybe if I work a couple jobs and I have like $1,000 to pay the body, and then like $1,000 in whatever, like Amazon affiliates or something like that in the year or so, which actually is a lot of cameras if you really know the percentages and how low they are in terms of affiliate marketing. And then maybe you release like a digital product based on the Pixis, and then you pay the other 1,000 back, whatever the case is. That turnover is way quicker when you have a YouTube channel, especially that's monetized. But absolutely, yeah, buy cameras when you have work coming up. I've made the mistake of buying a camera with the prospective work coming up, and that sucks when it doesn't. But typically for me, if I have 3 or 4 jobs I know that I could pay for at least like a good majority of it, then I'll probably pick it up. And don't buy the newest gear, only which fits your workflow. Professional DP, don't even use the newest camera. Zion, I think that I agree and I disagree with that. I agree with that, whereas you don't have to buy the newest gear all the time. For the most part, again, all of the videos and all the content you consume should just be like info bits. It's like sex ed. You're gonna do it anyway, so you may as well do it informed. And I think that, and like, your teacher's not telling you to go out and, do the nasty with other teenagers. What they're telling you to do is that you're probably gonna do it anyways, but at the very least have like all the information before you go and make that decision. So no, you don't have to buy the new camera every single time. Professional DPs do own cameras, believe it or not. Depends on where you are and depends on where that workflow is. And as much as I agree with not buying the latest and greatest thing, using the movements of somebody who's like, the people you're talking about are like the upper 5%. Sometimes that may work against you. So there is something to be said about having leaner productions, because a lot of things are moving that way. But yes, there are people that don't have their own cameras. They just rent them. That's all good, man. Answering people's questions. Don't mean to keep hammering the subject. Oh no, I actually genuinely feel bad, because that sucks. Because thankfully, I've dodged that twice. I would hate it if I was trying to sell my Komodo X before that price drop. And it like was a couple, like, but when I sold any camera this year or last year, it was like just before a price drop and like a couple months later, a couple weeks later. So that sucks. On the bright side, at least I have the next feature. Yeah. Also, John, like, to be fair, like that Ursa 12K, as long as it doesn't break down, knock on wood, and I'm sure Blackmagic has support for it. I don't know what you need from a camera for the next like 10 years. Don't even know. I went to Guelph too. I'm a fellow Griffin. Oh, okay. Small world. Okay. As long as that is the information that you have, then we're okay. We're good. As long as you don't know how I used to move in those streets. If you tried the Ursa Cine 12K already, is it as huge, as heavy as it looks? I've seen it. It is a big camera. Like, I would say it's smaller than the biggest camera I've ever operated on was the Venice. I would argue the Venice is bigger than the Mini LF. Actually, like, objectively it is. No, I haven't. It is a big camera, and it's not a when it's fully rigged out with like the B battery and everything like that, it's not a camera you just kind of run around willy-nilly. Yeah, slightly bigger than yours. Yeah, it's not light. It's not a light camera, man. I actually have a video. I think I'm gonna do a bunch of like technique videos updated for 2025. One is shooting with darker skin tones. That was a really highly requested video to do an update video. So I brought a couple different cameras, and you'll actually get to meet my sister for the first time on the channel. And if any of you say something rude, I will kill you. I will unalive you. I'll be upset with you. But she's going to be my test subject for this filming for darker skin tones. No name. Well, what up? CPL is a filmmaker's hack for interviews on darker skinned people. But most filmmakers I see don't shoot a lot of darker skinned people, at least the ones on YouTube, but another comment for another day. Yeah, Aaron, I'm going to say this right now. I mean, to be fair, not having a lot of melanated people on YouTube isn't necessarily the responsibility of anybody else but ourselves. and which is I don't know why that's a controversial thing to say and why I have to tread lightly on it. But I think if we want to see more people in there, celebrate them and like comment on their videos, leave nice things. You don't have to do it to me because like I'll be okay. But yeah, if you see like, you see someone who's magnificently melanated on the YouTube, let them know that they're seen, they're heard, and they're appreciated on the platform. And especially not only next month, but I think it would go a long way if that was next month. Hey, what's the best SD card for the Sony FX30? I need more context than that. I got a heck of a lot of Angelbird cards. I don't know which one to tell you, but I only have Angelbird cards. Maybe that was the answer. I don't know. If it's not, I need more context. How'd you find clients if you were starting from zero with a 9-to-5 job? I worked 5 to 11 or 6 to 12, I guess would it be. Because I had when I started freelancing, I had 2 jobs. And I would shoot on Saturday, Sunday. I'd edit after work Monday to Friday. And then I would kind of build, and what's cool about that was, if I shot Saturday, Sunday, all of the Monday to Friday when, short form content kind of just started, I make a ton of short form content. And try to respin everything in terms of how much content I could make, and then I would promote my services using that micro content. And the clients I was working with at the time when it was 2017, 18, they liked it. Big fucker to find out. That's funny. Do you think Nikon is going to really utilize a red RAW and change the red mount? And do you think it's worth investing in that system because of the potential? If I had zero money right now and I didn't care, I wasn't making content or whatever the case is, or there's just other things going on and I wanted a red system, I could see them milking the crap out of all that red technology that they have. And they're already starting to do it. I think you get the red LUTs now, which is cool. I don't know. Can you get R3D RAW on the Z6 III and the Z8? I don't know yet, and I'll find out, I guess, next week. I could see them really milking it and using the most out of it and making the most out of it, which is going to be super cool. I think I'm really interested to see what Nikon does. And also the Z mount, I think, has the shortest flange distance. So you can adapt it to E mount. And I mean, if you have a Nikon Z mount autofocus with the ability to adapt to Sony lenses, but it's still a red body, I said a lot of words, but it sounds like there's a lot of good things that could potentially happen. One second. Hey, I hope you get it. Get after it. I hope so. I sent an email. I just want to rent it. I'll rent it for this shoot. I've been coy about it, but if anyone's watched the WWE, and it's mostly men here. So if you remember who Trish Stratus is, she's Canadian, and we have a shoot with the supplement company with her, which is going to have a longer period of time to actually shoot than we did with Keon Coleman a couple months ago, which is super exciting for me because I'm cool, I could plan a bunch of really cool lighting setups. My budget call and concepting stuff is tomorrow, and I think that's going to be a cool shoot, and that's why I wanted to borrow it's a 12K. I also reached out to Cook Optics because I wanted a second run at getting a better production, because I just don't think the Keon Coleman was a good highlight of those lenses at work. And surprisingly, they're going to send over the SB3s and the S4, so we're going to have a fun shoot, because I do have to use a Pixis and the 12K, so I'll be able to make that really cool. And that's also going to be the first potentially Kofi cut, where it's going to be 65 to 80 minutes long, but it's going to go through every part of production in kind of a movie fashion. And I just want to see how it goes. Why don't you CFast price? I feel like every camera I had with a CFast card, I didn't end up liking in the long run, and I just have a weird emotional response to CFast cards, and I don't like them. Also, yeah, pricing is ridiculous for what they are. I've heard A7 V is coming. We all have. None of us know what it is. There's so many cameras, and that's me being as truthful as possible. I don't have an outgoing NDA for any Sony camera. Every brand I think that I've spoken to in terms of what's coming next, they're hey, we got something, but we're not going to tell you. I'm oh, that's fair enough. It's going to end up on Andrea Pizzini's channel anyway, so I'll just wait for that. So, I mean, if we all tune into that, then we'll all know exactly what's happening. Angel will start making 1 terabyte CFast cards. They're on your way out. Yeah, because I think the cameras that have them don't have them anymore. The Red Komodo X didn't use CFast. The C300 No, C400 doesn't use CFast. I think just cameras that use them don't make them. I don't have them. Hey, is that good brother Kofi? I see streaming. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you, man. I see you on Threads. You're always in the chat. I appreciate you, bro. I buy cameras based purely on looks and how the shutter sounds. That's fair enough. That's probably partly the reason why I have a GFX 50R, which is, I guess, technically a short stash video too. Hey, Shingy Wagwan. So if you guys don't know who Shingy is, if you ever see me, in a studio, it's his. Local Toronto studio owner. Shingy, if I wasn't traveling so much, I'd be back at the studio. Literally, I'm home up until early next week, and then I am in Europe, and then I come back home. I work a bunch. I do the Trish Stratus shoot, and then I leave to Europe again, which is a weird thing to say, and then I leave to Maui right after that. So, and then it's NAB. So, I will be back eventually, and you guys will see that studio because it's really dope, especially with the natural light. Sounds like a plan to count me in. I'm looking forward to it. Hey, let's do it. Okay, Carlos. So what I'm going to say, don't just make your first video. I need to see consistency. So if you get through making one video a week for a month, that 5th video, I'll put it on the channel. We'll all watch it together. All right, question for all. Do y'all think the Red Komodo X is still a good investment? Short answer is yes, depending on what you're shooting, but short answer is probably yes. I know the camera is absolutely amazing, but Nikon is still going to support it if they are swapping over to the Z mount. Oh, is Nikon still going to support it if they're swapping to the Z mount? I think so. I'm going to say I think so. And mostly because the way that they do these red demos at expos and stuff, I was just at CES, and I've been to a bunch of places where Nikon is kind of exhibiting there, and they have just a red section. I could see them still supporting it for a little while. How long? Don't know. But I think by the time you maybe are ready to buy a new camera upgrade, they might still have it. They might still support it, honestly. At least the new Reds, the current Reds, I should say. It's true. I start my own series here just to doc my progress as a creator, and it helps. I'm still working and practicing. And the comments helps too. Yeah, man. The whole cool part about YouTube is that you could do whatever you want on here, and as long as you do it consistently enough, and the platform will reward you. I made 100 videos on 2 cameras, 111 actually, technically. I think it was on the FX6 and the FX30. Completely overkill, but it was consistent enough, and there was enough people that saw value in it. And we're here not talking about either one of those cameras in detail, but you can make things whatever you want, and also you could use it as a documenting piece too. Hey, maybe if you get a new camera body, you could document that process too. Mark Waymills. I think that's the name. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same guy. Yes, I totally forget his last name all the time. I usually just read the W part and then accept that I'm going to mispronounce it, and then I don't know what it is, and I feel bad. Yeah, we're talking about the same thing. Hey, respects, bro. Watch your 6K video, among others, and help me with the camera also, because BM put that camera awesome. Yeah, man, that price drop was wild. But yeah, got to make that checklist. Again, if I could reiterate anything for any of you guys that are looking at buying a new camera, make a physical checklist. Because I think we've gotten to this weird point where and again, this is coming from somebody who makes this content, is we're almost too reliant on the opinions of other people that might supersede our own use case. And that can't be the way it goes about, because unfortunately, I don't know who's on the other side of the screen. So I can only give you the information that I have at that time. And yeah, I would say make your checklist of things that you need to do. And if it checks them off, maybe consider it, man. Why do you recommend buying the FX? Oh, okay. That makes sense. Where? I don't know where you live, but if you're in Canada, Vistec, Henry's, DV Shop, they're readily, you can buy one now. 2 years ago, that was tough. Hey, the film guy. I hope you're healing up, bro. We were talking earlier this morning. Good to see you here. Just open the stream, and the first thing I hear is... Yeah, Ruben, you came in the wrong time. I basically made a comment that my sister is going to be on one of my videos, and if anyone says something rude, yeah. That was me joking. I'm totally not being serious. No one is going to get killed. But if you talk about my sister in the comments, I will find you and tell you that was inappropriate. To the comment about professional DPs. Professional DPs do own cameras, plus they are the newest cameras. I'm set with everyone using art. Yo, the amount of people in Toronto that like, and maybe it's the same Arri Alexa 35 in the city, but like I've been seeing people with like Arri Alexa and like only Arri cameras, and I think it's so much so where, it's almost like when you see photographers with Leicas and Hasselblads, where like I'll see it like there's DPs I've heard of that like only will shoot projects on Arri, and I'm like, that's wild because it's expensive. And I mean, yeah, if you got money, bro, like it is what it is. But I almost considered purchasing one just for like the ability to get access to certain things, just having one of those guys. Because if I bring my already set, that like I'll get this person to help me out for cheap or whatever, because like they get to be around an Arri. It's super weird. But if you guys think that like the level below that is the only people that are concerned about like brand names and stuff like that, he might be mistaken. I love using Arri Alexa 35. I got to use a mini LF, and that was cool. That was a lot of fun. They're really hefty though. How do you ethically insert an advert into the videos? I just got my first sponsor and somehow hate the idea to insert a sponsor segment. If you hate the sponsor based on the sponsor and you don't think it's going to work out for your audience, then I wouldn't do it. And that's probably like, that's how I kind of justify things. If a sponsor comes my way and I don't think it's going to be a helpful thing to talk about that sponsor, then I'm not going to do it. Especially if it's like not something that I actively use. So for example, like Honeybook. I've been using Honeybook for brand deals and tracking down brands that owe me money since I started taking on brand deals. We have a private, we have a custom Honeybook portal where brands kind of like will sign up their contracts, and I get my SOWs and all my invoicing is in there. So like I have no problem with Honeybook. Artlist is kind of the same thing. Like Artlist I use not even for the music, but I use Artlist stock footage for mood boards and shot lists, because it would just have the motion of it in a GIF, and I like not a GIF, but it'd have like the little video on it, and I would put that on the shot list card so that way I could use it. So like stuff like that, like those things are helpful. Even a dash cam, I originally said like the dash cam one was the only brand deal where like originally I said absolutely not, because no one's gonna care. My car got broken into like 3 days later, and I'm like, I should have a camera on my car. But yeah, it has to be one of those things where if it doesn't have any sort of personal relevance to you, or you like don't like the brand, or it's not a company of something that you would see yourself using or think is useful for other people, then no, I wouldn't do it. Because it just sucks to do at that point, right? If you have a sponsorship where it just sucks to do the sponsor, then your audience is going to be able to tell, and then that's worse than unethical, because you also hate it, but then everyone else sees you hate it too, and you're doing it for the money. I have no problem with sponsored deals, because I think they're just the same as freelancing. In my mind, the object is kind of the same. The method is a bit different, and it's just up to you to say like, hey, here's the thing. They want me to tell you about the thing. I like the thing, or I think it'll be useful to you. If you like that thing too, then you could click the link in the description down below. Sponsors aren't supposed to make you brainwash an audience. It's marketing, which is awareness of a product that exists. And oftentimes a lot of them are useful. So from Orlando. Hey, I haven't been in Orlando in a minute. They got a lot of elderly people there, which also means it's super peaceful, which is nice. Have you seen anything about the Ronin 4 Mini? I saw an article this morning. No, I have not. Like a Ronin 4D or like a mini gimbal. Which would be weird, because like the Ronin RS4 Not Pro is pretty small. Like, would they make it, if they made it smaller, that would be interesting. It would be really interesting if they made it smaller. I have no idea. Oh, where did that stuff? Yeah. I don't know what that was in reference to be honest with you. Oh, Trish Stratus. Yes. There's that. Yeah, nice, awesome WB Pro wrestling stuff. Yeah, I've never shot pro wrestling. This is going to be one of the hardest things I had to DP, because I don't know, outside of like hero shots, which I mean, it's a supplement commercial, so like most of it will be. I don't know if we have the budget to do what I think I want to do. So I'm not too sure. I don't know how I'm going to go about it. I haven't figured out how I'm going to approach it yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. Have you used the Chimera C's deciding between these and the Vespids? I haven't yet. I mean, I was emailing them back and forth, but I think now that they're on Chinese New Year, I don't know if I'll hear back from them. But I wanted to use them. The Typox, I'm assuming you're talking about. I haven't used them yet. I'm interested. I just haven't. They haven't answered. I don't know if they will. Ooh, Timothy Bowser, you got a lot. Okay, let me go through it. I know this live was amazing. Thank you, sir. I'm just coming in from home from a job. You definitely helped my decision getting the FX3, and I appreciate your videos in the FX6 and the Ursa. And Trish, I feel like that video is going to get a lot of views for all of the wrong reasons. I know that the company I'm working with also is like, hey, if you're gonna put BTS, like y'all are a bunch of sickos. Y'all are a bunch of sickos. Seek the Lord. But also, I mean, it's gonna be an hour-long video. Run it up. And I think the FX6 Mark II is next in September. I would even go farther than that. I would say, when did the Burano come out? It was like November, October. I'd say like mid-end October if the FX6 Mark II is gonna come out, and only under the condition that there is no FX9 Mark II. I want to start shooting documentaries and also fashion photography. I'm stuck with an R5C C6 III. Oh, wait. And I'm stuck between the R5C, the Z6 III, and the Lumos S5 IIX. What do you recommend? Any of them. Literally any of them. Maybe, I don't know if the R5C fixed the whole battery thing. Because I remember the battery was a big issue. Like, the battery didn't last long. Any one of those three is going to be fine. Because, like, realistically, with documentaries, and like go on Netflix right now and watch a documentary, ain't no one shooting no crispy 4K, 8K, 10-bit, 14. It's like GoPro footage in an interview, and then there's like archival footage, and then an interview, and then like when you go watch a Netflix documentary, like when I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wait, yeah, man, there's like some of these shots don't look good, right? So I mean, like you'll be just fine on any one of those systems, bro. What's going to be interesting is I will have two of those three cameras. I've never used an R5C. One of my friends has one, never used it in my life, which, hang on a minute. That might be a video. You might have just given me a video idea. Omar Ortiz wants to know, can we get some Uncle Kofi? Yes, you can get some more Uncle Kofi. So every video in 2025, at least the ones that are coming out, I'm going to have a Ghanaian language of the day. So maybe it's a word, maybe a saying, maybe even you'll get to know your name. Because your name is very important. So yes, you're definitely going to get that more. I am going to Ghana in December for about a month and a half. I think this time I'm going to completely take that time off of YouTube. So like January 2026, you may not see my face. But in that time, I want to learn Chi, which is one of the Ghanaian languages, a lot of it more, because if I'm gone enough, then I suck at it. So these videos of me like doing that is as much for me as it is for you, because I'm actively learning Chi a little bit better while doing that, while at the same time I'm learning in the background and also teaching you things from my culture, which I feel like I'm going to try to do a little bit more often, because as one of like the 7 people of color, what's unique about being from Canada is typically it's very easy to find out where your parents originated and immigrated from. Where a lot of Americans, unfortunately, the transatlantic slave trade, people's cultures kind of get eroded between where the roots are outside of being American. So I think it'd be a really cool take. Talked to Nikon or Rep, and he said something crazy is coming in regards to Red and Nikon. They have the money to do it. They've been around for like 110 years. I wouldn't put it past them. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm going to do right by the Z6 III and the ZF video, which is probably going to be in March because I have too many videos planned. I said yes to too many things. But hey, I'm here for it. I am here for every camera company putting their best foot forward for the next 8 months. Lay it all on the table. Tell us what it is. And then again, at the end of next year, everyone shut up for like a couple years. Let us all just enjoy the cameras we have. And then we'll go from there. Hey, Base Dad TV. What up, bro? Big money. I wish. If I had big money, I'd probably get a bigger office because I share this one. It's a small room. Any thoughts on the best travel-friendly tripod? Needs to be something that won't break. I actually have one of these. Hang on. Let me just kind of go back here and grab it. There we go. Okay. This is like the only like direct. Am I sharps? Yeah, I'm sharp. This is the only direct gear recommendation that I think I have done in this video. But I have this fall cam tree root. And I like fall cam stuff because they have a really cool quick release system. I kind of wish it had 2 screws in some of their quick releases, which is fine. But this guy is super sturdy. It's like not a bad thing in your carry-on case. Like you can fit this in like the pocket of a backpack, or even my carry-on's now just like a duffel, and I could put this into there no problem. And they have a quick release plate at the top, and as well as you have this little like F22 quick release on the front, so I could put a magic arm on there. So what I'm going to do in this trip that I have to Europe is I'm actually going to mount on like an Osmo Pocket 3 or an Action 5 on the front here for the magic arm. So that way I can get like a video on one side and then I get landscape photo on the other, which is really cool. So if you're someone who likes making like vertical content while you make other content as well, that could help out quite a bit. And it's a really small tripod and it's super nice. I don't think it's cheap though. I don't think it's cheap. Knocker Rep said they're keeping the Canon mount. Oh, that's kind of surprising. On the red line. That is surprising. New Panasonic coming. Any thought on what it is? Bro, I wish I knew. And I wish it was the S1H Mark II. I doubt it. Because hang on a second. Because they have, okay, and I'm learning more about Panasonic because I did not realize all of their camera lines. Because I know there's the S5 II and the S5 IIX. I don't know like what the parallel is between that, like the S5 series and Sony, but then there's like the S1 series, where like there's an S1, which I thought was the like A7 IV version, but apparently it's the S5 series. It's really confusing. And there's like an S1H, which I guess the H is for hybrid, so it does photo and video. And there's an S1R. So there's 4 of them, and they're all hybrid cameras. I would guess if you're going to have an S1H Mark II, which I would really like to have, if it's going to come out in Q1, I don't know if it will, because I don't know if it's a busy season to do that right now. But then again, also Sony cams have released in that time, so I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just spinning circles while talking and trying to figure that out, but I actually don't know. But I hope it's something good, and it's probably going to be, because I think Lumix still gets Sony sensors, so it'll probably be a sensor that we've seen already, but just configured to whatever Lumix juju that they have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lumix still buys Sony sensors, right? I think I watched a Big Cook video, and he's talking about, like, they've been using the same sensor like 100 times, so that's probably it. Summer, what up? Oh, hang on a second. My whole chat skipped. Oh, okay, there you go. Hey, chat. Summer, you are probably one of, like, out of the 55,000 people here, you're one of 3 females. So, congratulations. Osiris, hey, bro. Should I start these streams even later? Because, like, I was going to say I got, like, 15 minutes left, but, I mean, there's so many people in here. But I might just stay on today. I'll do my workout tomorrow. I've been busy today. So, my Fujifilm X-H2S, Sony A7R3, and S3 for the Sony A1 and the FX3. Hey, Mr. Moneybags, rich boy. Y'all saying I got money. This guy got an A1. Selling Red Komodo for FX6. Working the NFL Super Bowl this year. You have to have Sony to get hired. Yeah, so I heard about that. So I kind of knew about that beforehand. But yeah, so at Condo, they announced that Sony and the NFL are tech partners. So if anybody that's running a not Sony camera while trying to get into the NFL shooting games, God bless you. Christian, I think I saw you post on a Facebook group looking for an FX6. I would say, man, if you're trying to get it to the game, it's worth it enough to just rent it. I would say, like, because you're close, like that game's what, next weekend? I would say if you can't get it sold by like next Wednesday, I would just rent it, man, and just bite the bullet and get it done. Super Bowl's a game you don't want to pass up. Also, I'm jealous that you got into the Super Bowl in a media pass. I actually like legitimately tried to, and I couldn't. Shout out to Kofi for the live stream, listening to the drive to the gym. Hey, Charles getting after it. Okay, maybe, you know what? After this, I will go to the gym. I got stairs today. I'm not supposed to. I could do legs today, or I could do it tomorrow. You know what? Maybe I'll get my good Stairmaster session in. All right, James, you have a good one. Hey, Amanda sent a super chat. Thank you. Just popping in to say hi and support back to Pokemon. I still have Pokemon Violet version. I only have 5 badges. I started playing it when I was going to Japan, and then I just stopped playing it for no apparent reason. But I do have an 18-hour flight when I'm going to Europe because it stops, so I will probably beat the game by then. Did you get some sleep from this AM? On another note, the new Blackmagic announcement and the RE announcement is concerning. High-end cameras are starting to lose a big chunk of the rental and consumers. Yeah, absolutely. The writing's on the wall there, and I think every other company knows it. I've heard it from a couple of different brands where the high-end market is just, it's not what it used to be. And that's mostly because, like, Hollywood and large productions aren't what they used to be. Like, they're moving to very small teams, which kind of flies in, like, the face of, earlier I think somebody said, like DPs don't own cameras, and I think they didn't own cameras because they were $80,000 to $100,000, but now when you have cameras like an Ursa 12K that's like 15 grand that you could probably shoot a lot of commercials with, it becomes a lot more viable to want to own a camera now. So I definitely think the high-end market is kind of collapsing. I also think because the high-end demand for things is also going down by quite a bit, which sucks for a lot of people in a lot of different places. Like I know friends that are in the high-end market that like have gone back to regular 9-to-5 jobs now. And then I know some people that have gone to like YouTube and then like they've started doing things on that end and they've done really well. So it kind of is a balancing act, but I think you are right. Some of that high-end market is starting to disperse a little bit, which is a great thing for people coming into the space, but not so great of a thing for people that are used to a certain workflow and also like income and stuff. Would you agree with the statement that a cheap camera with an expensive lens produces a better image than a expensive camera with a cheap lens? No. Because that is contextual to which camera and which lens we're talking about. That's incredibly, like I couldn't put an RA35 Master Prime on a T2i and it looked better than a Red Komodo and 7 Artisans lens. It wouldn't be the same. Hey, thanks for the advice. Luckily, both brands want to sponsor the products I like. I just hate the selling stuff to people. I mean, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely sympathize with that. I think for me, the way that I got over it is that like, if it's something I like talking about, for the most part, it's a thing that's asked of me anyways. For example, this 2-hour stream, there was at least 17 people that asked on recommendations of things. The only difference is that I'm being recommended a thing that I would recommend. And if I reiterate the reason why I recommend it and the company says, hey, we're going to financially support that, like in my head, if that's something you're looking for anyways, as long as I'm not, the thing is that as long as you are being honest about the way that you are doing the sponsorship and you're not saying hyperbolic things like, this is the best thing ever, and like, don't buy anything else but this thing, that would be a lie, or at least it would be ill-informed, right? So it all depends on how you deliver stuff. But unfortunately, part of YouTube is selling stuff to people, whether it's going to be your own product, which is yourself, or other products. It just matters of A, do you actually support that product and want to tell other people? And if you do want to tell other people and it's something you do like, then other people would like it, which kind of removes some of the barriers in terms of like, should I not tell you a thing because I'm being paid for it, but I like it? So you have to battle with that every single time. But generally speaking, if it's something you like and you think it'll be useful, you'll be okay. Yeah, Atlanta in the house. I got to go back to Atlanta. I've been there for when I was in Alabama for a little bit and I stopped in Atlanta, but that was like 2021. So I want to make my way back. It's supposed to be, it supposedly had object tracking. I about the Run 4 Mini. Ooh. So they've just made big Osmo pockets, which is awesome. Hey, if I could figure out how to get my hands on one of those. Because like, I wonder what the payload is going to be. Like, can I only, like, is it only like an S9 that I could fit on there? Like, because if you could fit like an FX3 with like a Blazar Remus lens on like a little tiny thing, might be kind of fire. Green smiley face. Face green smiley. Face green. I don't know what that means. I'm scared now. Hey, Kofi stream after video. Yeah, maybe it might not do well on the algorithm that I did a video this morning and then a live stream at night, but we're here. We are here, and we have no fear. He thought I was going to say something else, and I didn't. Arri Alexa 35 was released in 2022. I wouldn't call it new in 2025. I I mean, in the context of Ari, that's a new camera, man. They don't release cameras like every other company where it's every like 3 years. Ari has no problem releasing nothing and being very quiet or like using the same sensor. Every camera company uses the same sensor over and over and over again. So like, if it was any other company, not Ari, I would agree. But 3 years for Ari, that's not a long time. Cody's going to come back from Ghana with 20 pounds of muscle, do all the executes. Adam, you have to understand, only very few people will understand how funny that joke is. Volandis put up a video about like why are eggs so cinematic, and I think I sent him a text, and I'm like, this is every Ghanaian's dream. Because if you guys know Ghanaian people, we eat eggs with literally everything. I buy 18, like a dozen and a half eggs, I think maybe every 5 days. Like, not even kidding. I will eat 3 eggs a day consistently every day. I also have egg whites and stuff as well. But yeah, no. My relationship with unborn chickens is ridiculous. Hey, shout out to my Ghanaian brother. I also can't speak Chi. The elders will hate me. Yeah, they call you mean names and stuff too. Like, the worst one is like I couldn't speak Chi at all when I was like 18. And I went to Ghana, and someone said something to me. I had no idea what they're saying. And woman looked right at my face, and she's like, "Oh, Bruni?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, I know what that word means. And if you don't know what that word means, I'll let the chat tell you." But it made me really mad because the way that she said it, and I understood the context, and then she would call me and my siblings the lost children. It was god awful. I still can't speak Chi very well now, but yeah, that happens, bro. It sucks when you can't speak the language and you go back home. I'm using a Panasonic S5 IIX. I love it. It's not perfect. It's good. And that's so much for all at once. I keep thinking about a B cam and keep coming to the conclusion the S5 IIX is the best B cam for the S5 IIX. Yes. Yes, the best B cam for your A cam is just another A cam. You've reached enlightenment, Base Dad TV. Only few people will experience it. Hey, Edmund, yo, stop beating the scene, bro. But yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you know, you know. You actually might be able to pick them up this month. If you know, you know. Dude, didn't your roots are in Ghana? Oh, didn't know my roots were in Ghana. My first name and my last name. Very obvious because there's a video, the short stash. No, I have a video on the Laowa 10mm, and I'll actually tell you guys what your day name is. All the people I met from here in Europe are literally some of the best people that I met. Definitely explore more of the culture and hope to see Uncle Kofi more. You definitely will. We're actually going to go through what your day name is. So you get a name based on the day of the week you're born on. And that is going to be on next Wednesday's video, which is going to be kind of fun. It's about the Laowa 10mm. But yeah, there's a lot of Ghanaian people in Europe right now just because like it's a 6-hour flight. Like it's not far. Hey, boss, what do you think about the XH2S? Nothing, because I've never used it. One day I will. That's also asked out. Like this is like the 5th time somebody asked me about this camera. Should put a 1 in the chat if you want to see maybe like a 3 video run of the XH2S, or a 2 in the chat if you want to see the Z6 Mark III first. That's what we're gonna do because I've never used it. I've never even seen it. I've never used a Nikon camera or the Fuji or like a Fuji camera outside of the GFX series. The Nephew Sony sensors. Thanks for your thoughts. Thank you, man. Yeah, no, Lumix, I think is one of those companies that does use a lot of Sony stuff. So like whatever Sony's already come up with sensor wise, probably going to see repeated elsewhere. I think Leica does too, to be honest with you. So I think honestly a lot of the companies use Sony sensors, honestly. Big Cook is probably the only person on YouTube that is technically not famous, but somehow everybody knows about. The guy has an aura no one else has. Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing. I don't think I've missed a Big Cook video since May. Since the S9 launch, I have not missed a Big Cook video. In fact, I think if you pay attention closely enough, there's like 5 videos where in the B-roll that I'm getting, I'm watching Big Cook videos, and that's me legitimately watching them. There's like 3 videos I think this month where like I'm just minding my own business, but I'm watching Big Cook as I'm doing it. But yeah, I think he's been able to really toe the line between how creators are feeling about the relationship with the audience, because like a lot of the stuff that he'll say is weirdly enough like stuff I have in private conversations, but he's just like saying it but understanding it from an audience member. But at the same time, also is a way to explain, like he's been able to sum up how the rational part of the audience feels about creators and not the whole like brain dead comments that you get all the time, because like you'll get a fair share if you're in YouTube long enough. So I think he's done a really good job of doing that. And also I like him. I think he's a cool dude. If he was in Canada, I would have maple syrup and pancakes with him. I don't know if that's a no Diddy moment. I meant that in like most like platonic and not weird way as possible. And I think now that I say that, it actually makes it sound even weirder. Well, now we're here. Anyway, I've been sending cold pitches, elephant bites while listening to the stream. Hey, look at that. We're getting people hustling out here. It's good to buy camera gear, but it's even better when you can make it make money. Hella relaxing. Any advice to cinematographer trying to break into the Toronto commercial scene? Make friends, bro. I would say one of the things that's held me back and what's been holding me back for like a year and a half is I leave this country quite often, and it's hard to establish relationships at the higher levels of video production when you're not physically here. And you're not physically here often. And I would say, like, even in my own experience, like, I'm not here long enough where, like, my work here is a little bit more limited. I have really good connections to certain spaces and certain places, and I've been using those for a really long time. But, like, kind of breaking out into it, I would say make friends. And it's either productions are going to get brought on as someone else, or making friends in the sense where you just make productions with the friends that you have, which is generally speaking what a lot of people are doing now. But yeah, make friends. I think the more open you are to having people around you in the video production world, the better off you're going to be. I still have those Pokemon for you, so hey, hold on to those, because I might be playing again before I go. I gotta get that game set up. I've been playing some cooking game. I can't remember what it's called, but we've been playing cooking games on the TV. Kobe, should I get rid of my DJI Ronin 4D for a Sony A1 Mark II? Eric, my friend, my brother. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I got to know what you use the cameras for. I got to know what you want to use the cameras for. The A1 Mark II is great. I haven't used one yet. I'm supposed to. There's a certain individual that I saw today that has the one that I'm supposed to be borrowing from Sony, and they haven't brought it back yet. But I'm sure both cameras are great. I really want the Ronin 4D. I actually badgered the crap out of DJI about potentially getting one, because one of my buddies, he actually directs a lot of car commercials, and I want one because I'm going to help DP with them. So I would say the Ronin 4D is great. Is it better than the A1 Mark II? I have objectively no idea. It depends on what you shoot. Got my Pixels today. Congratulations, and I love it. Maybe somebody, Blackmagic, will finally ship the Pixels monitor. Tanner, if you know, let me know. Help a brother out. We're gonna call it the HBO special. Actually, I stole that from somebody else, but help a brother out, because I also want my Pixels monitor. I pre-ordered mine months ago. Still haven't heard anything back. Hey, see, now this is why I like having these live streams for like 2 hours, because now you got guys connecting. Y'all link up, figure some stuff out. And this is what I mean. Make friends. This is an easy way to progress in the creative industry, no matter where you are. I'm thinking between Fall Cam and the Tilta travel tripod. Don't care about the price. I need those for weddings, so it's easy to travel and strong. I got the Fall Cam one, man. I think I was talking about that earlier. It's the tree root. And I think the big thing for the tree root that I like is that quick release on the front, I could put on a second camera using the little magic arm for it. And I have been doing a little bit of testing and using it a bunch. I just haven't really mentioned it. But I've been using the Action 5 and the Osmo Pocket 3 quite a bit. And I've just been like sprinkling it in videos. And they're quite nice. And the fact that you can kind of just like magic arm it to the tripod is cool. I am going to get off of this soon. Like, I think, cheese on peas. I'm going to try my best to if I get to the bottom of this thing, I'm going to go to bed. I don't understand the apprehension working with brands. We all sell to people, be it camera services, clients selling. Rob, okay, hang on a second. Y'all are bad friends. I told you, when Rob says stuff out of pocket, you got to give me an emoji to warn me before I read these things out loud, because I don't read them before. We're all selling mode, guys. Yeah, realistically, as creative entrepreneurs, we're selling stuff. I think the idea of it is I think some people have a lot of not good feelings about that. I think when they like somebody a lot, the last thing they want to do is to like be sold a product, I guess, technically to them, which is, I don't know, for me, it's the total opposite, because those would be the people that like, I would listen to and consider the opinions of the most, but we'll see. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Sponsors are kind of weird, man. I think you have to somehow build a bridge around it, or build a bridge to kind of get yourself through it mentally. And realistically, again, as long as you're not doing it with the intention of hurting anybody else in exchange to make money, whether that's lying to somebody or having them spend money they shouldn't have, I think you're going to be okay. You mentioned you are traveling or having a trip to Europe. When are you coming over here and where? If you can share, of course. I'm going to multiple places. I can only tell you one of them, and one of them is Italy. I went to multiple places in Europe. The rest of them I'll tell you later. Another video. Volanda's Ghanaian audience probably increased tenfold after that video. Honestly, I wonder if Volanda's maybe low-key is Ghanaian. I haven't really asked him. I used to chat with him like every now and again, but I haven't for a long time. 4. Wait, what's 4? What's 4? It was 1 or 2. You had to pick yourself 1 or 2. Why did you pick 4? What is this? What is happening? Big Hook funniest. Big Hook is the funniest person on YouTube. 100%. Unmatched. And he's funny because he's low-key roasting everybody in the best way. And you can't even be mad. Like the video he made yesterday about, I guess like people being soft and like complaining about like minute details of cameras was hilarious. And you couldn't even push back on that because it's hilarious when it's somebody that's not like a larger creator kind of says that. It's hard to be like, oh, this person is saying this from an ivory tower, and more of I may have to reflect on my own behavior, which is hilarious objectively. And then when he kind of went to like creators that are like, oh, I'm depressed and burnt out and I don't want to do videos. And then he's like, well, then stop doing videos. I'm like, this is great. But yes, I agree. Now I want to, Jesus. I mean, that's the thing you're going to have to take up with Big Cook. I don't know if that would be something that he'd be into. I said pancakes. We have maple syrup in Canada. It's one of our, I think maybe it's a major export. I don't know. But we have them on pancakes, and they're quite nice, and I would say that. I grew up in LaFranc City, Queens, New York, and I grew up with a lot of Ghanaian people. What tribe are you? I want to go to Accra, but the flight is expensive. Yeah, man, if you want to get a flight to Ghana, you got to go in like February, March. It'll be like, I think it's like 1,000, probably 1,000 to 1,200, which is a lot cheaper than it is if you go in December. Both my parents are Ashanti, but my mom speaks Fanti. My dad speaks Chi. So the languages aren't super, super far apart from each other. They can understand each other pretty well. But yeah, in context, that's what it is. Something came out of my bank account, and I don't know what it is. Outulens got his Pixis monitor like a month ago. Yeah, there's a couple guys. So on the Pixis monitor side, there's a couple people that are on different beta tests and stuff. I think Florian was one of those guys that was like on a different beta test than everybody else was. Kofi, I'm a filmmaker from Brazil, and I'm looking for my first Canon cinema camera. Something has the best value for the money. US dollar is very expensive for us now. Any suggestions? I will tell you what I told everybody else on this live stream. Make a list, a check mark list, like a physical list. You have to write it out. You got to put it in a notebook, put it on a piece of paper. Doesn't matter what it is. Make a list of things that you need in a cinema camera. What frame rates do you need? What resolution do you want? What are you going to use it for? All of those things. Consume as much content as you can until you find the camera that checks off every single one of those boxes. You will find the camera at that point. Because I don't know in terms of what you're looking for because I don't have any other context. And it's far easier to have that context right in front of you and weigh the information based on that than me just saying like, buy a Pixis. And then you buy a Pixis and you realize it doesn't work for you. Thoughts on the new Sony Burano, new firmware makes it much better. It's definitely an improvement. I just think it's just for what it is in the market right now, it's just pricey. I think we were talking about that earlier. Like for the Burano, for the people that it's made for, which is going to be a lot of people in the NFL. Like one of my buddies actually, he used to work for NFL Films. He has a documentary coming out next week. Shot on 2 Buranos. He's going to do fine. People in reality TV, going to do fine. I don't know if you guys follow Valentina V, but she used to be on the Aperture channel a bunch. Also owns a Burano. She shot like spots for with the characters from The Boys, for The Boys, on the Burano. So like as much as on YouTube we can be like rolling shutter and blah, blah, like all this other stuff that like we'll say, in the real world, like in that echelon of people, that's what they were looking for. Like the amount of people outside of YouTube that don't consume that YouTube content, they're generally the ones the camera was made for. It's just us schmucks will go on YouTube and complain about them. But yeah, I do think it's a gigantic improvement. Oh, YC Onion Pinata Peak Tripod. And it's pretty great. It might be a little large for travel, but it's solid. That's a good call. Actually makes a lot of sense. No. The hard part is that where we're going is a little bit far. And I also, like, we're going to be there for, like, so quick. So to my knowledge, no. But I can bring it up to the group because it's a group of us going. And the group, I won't tell you who it is yet. But, maybe. I kind of like how YouTubers in the camera space chat with each other. It feels like one big crossover episode. Yeah, man, we got group chats on group chats on group chats. Like, I'm part of, like, too many of them. Like, I got my, like, the creator side of things, which is, I'm going to try to remember everybody off by heart. So it's me, Terry, Brady, Mike Tobin, Tamara Gabriel, who just joined creator. So really cool creator. I don't know if you guys follow Tamara Gabriel. Really good. Does a lot of stuff on like the DJI Osmo Pocket and stuff. Also David Manning is in it. Taylor Jackson, a couple other guys. Anyways, Lee, Chris, and all of them. That's one group chat. And then I have like another group chat with a bunch of different other creators where we just talk crap to each other, which is hilarious. And then I have another there was also other group chats for like the different trips we've been on, and the group chats have just kind of stayed. So there's those, and every so often those kind of get brought up. So it's a lot. There's a lot of them. Big Cook is what Cam Mackey was before getting too famous from getting all those hate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like Cam has been like, and this is me just like knowing him personally and kind of like seeing that. I don't think many things have changed. I do think that like when you get to a certain level of how many people follow you, you do have to be a little bit more cognizant or like even oversensitive of things you say, because then everything you say gets blown out of proportion. Like, I don't even want to get into the situation, but like I remember I made like a minor disagreeing comment on a video and someone got really upset, and then like everyone kind of like dogpiled into there, and I didn't realize it was happening or thought nothing of it. And when you have a larger audience, like that sort of stuff happens, and then you have to also like augment your language and how you move things based on how other people are going to react because they know you, which changes how you do anything. But also I think like Cam pushing back on people is based on the fact that people made it trendy to constantly try to poke at him for no apparent reason. So I don't necessarily think it's a too famous thing. I think what ends up happening is that when, you know, you log into YouTube and there's 4 different people that have scathing videos about you, or just like people just saying things that are kind of inaccurate, eventually say something back. And some people don't like that. Edmond Dante Lopez. Oh, Evan. Yeah, in a second, I'm going to read this from the beginning because this is a super chat and it's way easier to read if I do it from here. You've already done God's work today. Go hit the gym. Always dope to catch up these live broadcasts. Here's another deposit for ... Wait, deposit for what? Deposit for what? We're never going to know. Oh, we're never going to know. Yeah, I'm going to like as soon as I get to the bottom of this chat, which I think is going to happen pretty soon, I'm going to go to the gym. No problem. Also, if you are able, try to, yes, absolutely, totally agree, rent different cameras. Oh, the YC opinion also is a mount for a magic arm. Just a thought. Huh, not bad. What's a good lens that would match Tokina Vistas, but can fly in a Ronin 4? I don't know. Like, I guess the closest thing that I could think of off the top of my head, and I could be totally wrong, would be like the Athenas or the DZO Vespids. And I could be completely wrong. I'm just thinking payload. I don't even know. Like, I don't know if that would. Maybe the Vespids. I don't know. Vespids are going. Athenas or Vespids. I don't know. I wish. That's a good question. I don't know. I could be stumped on that one. Are you packing the GFX 50R for next work trips? Yes. Yes, I am. That's the easiest way I can explain that. Yes, I am. I have a set of Tokinas, but looking for something that is light enough but high-end enough to match them. Yeah, that's a tough one, bro. Maybe the Athenas. Cam didn't change. Cam didn't change. He's always been promoting to use. You have a dirty shots in there. The audience changed. I follow him. So yeah, and he hasn't changed. Yeah, I agree with that. Oh God, I knocked over something on my girlfriend's desk, and she's gonna be mad about it if I don't immediately fix it. You guys are seeing this live. Kofi makes mistakes because he's a human being. Okay. Yes, I can agree with that. I feel like for the most part, were people that I found have changed on YouTube. I don't necessarily think is a matter of like, I'm being famous, so everyone is beneath me. I think what ends up happening is that as people grow bigger audiences, people think it's cool to try to... I played football for a little while, and what would happen was people at bars would try to fight my teammates because it's just a thing people do at bars to prop themselves up. And I think that when that becomes popular, that will ultimately change someone's behavior. But I would say, I would agree with you. I think he's been pretty much the same person. There's just more people that watch him now, right? So there's more people that love him. There's also objectively more people that dislike him. Have a workout session and good night. Yeah, you know what? I'm almost at the end of this one. I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'm going to get to the rest of these, and then I'm going to go do some cardio. Have a nice night, Kobe. Thank you. Hey, respects. I travel to Sao Paulo 3-4 times a year. I think I could rent almost any cinema camera there. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, man. Rent. Don't buy things. Rent them first. Guys, I just got to go to the gym. Where the worst part is, as soon as he said that, more people are going to send me a camera that you don't use anymore. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Mateos, you're welcome. I love the Vespid Cybers. And with that, the last comment. It's been almost 2.5 hours. This is a long stream, bro. I'm going to go. It is 9:55. I want to get out of here by 9:30. I'm not. So I'm going to go and do that. Thanks a lot, guys, for sticking with this for 2.5 hours. There's 41 of you still here. And at one point there was 70, which is insane. But I'm going to go home. Hug your mother, drink water, mind your business, and don't stick your fingers in electrical sockets because those are painful and could hurt you very much. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you, everyone who threw super chats. That is Edmund, Amanda, Marcus, and Al Jalil. And I will see you guys in the next one. Last comment. All right, Timothy. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, you didn't get last comment. It is going to be Verbal. Peace.